wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy. Oh, it's not working. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
I learned a trick. I was going to try it.
Yeah, Tanner told me it's not going to happen today.
Darn it. Okay.
The equipment that's needed to make that do that is not there. He needs it later today.
I see. I understand.
Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Yeah.
Crazy 24 hours since we last spoke.
Yeah, it's lots happened.
Yeah, I mean, not one, but two major fires in the area, obviously in the Lincoln County there.
Right.
Of course, the McBride fire, which is not in Ruidoso,
It's
but
near Ruidoso.
Near Ruidoso.
The Nogal area, I believe.
The Nogal Canyon fire is the other fire,
That's
which is right smack dab between Carrizozo and Capitan.
There you go.
Those are going. Updates I've seen, like the Nogal Canyon fire, latest I've seen on there was 0% contained, 350 acres burned on that one. For the McBride fire, it's much more significant.
4,132, I believe.
Yeah,
0% contained.
0% contained. 150 plus structures, houses have been lost.
Yeah.
4,132 acres have burned thus far. They continue to have power outages. No timetable on when power is set to be restored there. Internet, I've heard issues as well.
Right.
Some of for folks that are in that area or know folks living in that area, the road closures include Gavilan Canyon Road from Meander to Hull Road, Warrior from Hull to Gavilan, roads east of Hull from Warrior to Gavilan Canyon, like Snowcap, McBride, Timberlake, etc. All those roads are closed. They've got mandatory evacuations in place for the Moon Mountain area, which includes the McBride Snowcap, the Homestead Acres, Rancho Ruidoso, Village Estates, Eagle Creek, Deer Valley, Deer Park, Alto, east of Flute Player, all those areas. They're doing mandatory evacuations right now. So as we get updates, we'll let folks know. But right now, the biggest update will be probably in the weather, based on what I'm thinking. Until the winds die down, they're going to have a heck of a time containing that sucker.
It has been a horrible 48 hours as far as the wind goes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was insane yesterday. And I'm looking outside. It's looking like it's raring up for another good one today.
Yeah. Well, good news. Windy, but less windy.
Yeah,
that's
less than 55-mile-an-hour gusts.
Yeah.
That's good news.
And we'll get you on the weather and all that. And then I heard the same thing for the Ruidoso area, where it's supposed to be breezy,
right,
but less so than yesterday. So maybe they can start to combat in the positive direction on this fire. So hopefully
that would be most good. A little humidity would be also nice.
That would be very nice. And
so if you want to get on that.
Yeah, if we can
start on that guy who gives us the weather.
Everyone just spray your hoses in the air so you can move the needle on the humidity. But
whatever happened to cloud seeding?
What is that?
Well, okay, when I was a kid, it was like people were always talking about it. It was like a thing Native Americans used to do, where you'd shoot a thing in the sky and you could seed the clouds and like make rain.
I feel like they were pulling y'all's leg.
Maybe it was a thing growing up. Like when I was a kid, they would always talk about seeding clouds.
I feel like that's something Bugs Bunny would do. Just saying.
I'm gonna look this up because I'm curious.
Marvin the Martian might handle. Yeah, I don't feel like that's a thing. Cloud seeding?
Seeding the clouds. I'm looking it up. I'm trying to find out.
I'm a cloud farmer.
All right. Cloud seeding is a type of weather modification that aims to change the amount or type of precipitation that falls from clouds by dispersing substances into the air that serve as cloud condensation or ice nuclei, which alter the microphysical processes within the cloud.
Anybody, I feel like anybody that's watched the TV show Snowpiercer might think that's a bad idea.
It's in fairness, if one could seed clouds, you'd think one could seed clouds with like, biological weapons or something.
All I know is I saw Snowpiercer and I don't think each, depending on which version you watch, the movie, the video, the TV show or the book, but I think they pretty much all say that they tried to do something with the clouds or with the weather or manipulate and end up freezing the planet. So I don't know. That sounds a little dangerous to me.
It says the technique has been used by militaries and civilian governments on and off, but despite decades of cloud seeding operations, proof that the technique works outside of miniaturized clouds created in the lab has been elusive.
So all they can do is recreate in a bubble.
Yeah, pretty much. But
cloud seeding.
I think it's...
I don't know.
Let's bring it back.
Y'all mess with Mother Nature territory now, and I know it's not nice to fool with Mother Nature.
Yeah, I've always been in the mindset that as soon as this dog is ready to get the fleas off her back, she's just gonna shake.
Yeah. But anyway, as we get updates from the two fires, the McBride and Nogle Canyon fires here, we'll get you updates on that. But praying for everybody out there that's dealing with that and families that are in that area. Hopefully everybody's safe and doing good.
Yeah.
Good news is I haven't heard anything about casualties or anything. Just buildings and trees, and we could fix all that. But
it sounds like they put a lot of the evacuation orders in place that needed to be there, and
the one thing that is not replaceable, the people. Sounds like we're good there, so that's the good thing. So, but we'll continue to monitor as that goes on. Let me give you the rundown for today's show. We got a pretty full slate for you today. This hour we'll have ladies from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women join us. I believe it'll be Teresa Barncastle and Nicole Rogers, and they'll give us an update on what's happening at the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15 or so, we'll have Roswell Independent School District Superintendent Brian Luck join us. Last night was the RSD school board meeting, so he'll give us the recap and obviously talk about all the other things happening in and around the Roswell Independent School District. And then the 9 o'clock hour, we got an open slot, so I figured we'd replay our interview we had yesterday with Drew Garnett. He's the ag agent with the Chaves County Extension Office, and he gave us an update and talked about a farmers ranchers workshop that they're going to be having later on in April, around the 26th or so.
Yep.
And so we talk about that. So we'll play that for you here about 9:15 or so. Plus, we'll talk all about your news of the local national varieties, town hall, Wall Street updates, sports, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show.
By the way, I wanted to let folks, let people know that the fairgrounds out here, the Eastern Mexico State Fairgrounds, they have space available for livestock that are coming in from the Nogle, Alto, or Ruidoso areas.
Okay, so they're catering to some of that, basically being a hotel for the livestock.
Essentially, housing the livestock. They also have RV hookups available there. So if you want more information, or if you know somebody who needs space for their animals, you can call Rick at 575-626-4909 or Mark at 575-420-3838. I'll post this up over on the 106.5 Facebook page as well.
Yep, and also if you want to stay abreast of what's going on with the McBride fire, I know if you go to McBride Fire 2022 on Facebook, you'll be able to find a page which we've investigated enough that we think it's pretty official. Looks like it's, according to the page, it's put together by the public information officers that are assigned to the fire. So, that's about as official as they come, as far as I know. So
better info than we have.
Yes, it looks like it's a page established by government entities there in Ruidoso to keep everybody up to date on what's going on with the fire there. So that's where I've been poking around. As far as the Nogle Canyon, I've just been getting updates from like news outlets and things. I haven't seen anything official on that one. Of course, that fire is much smaller than the other one, but not meaning that's any less dangerous.
Sure.
It's just
hadn't reached its potential
impacting less people than the other fire is. So, all right, it is 7:15. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on this weather. Let's see if we got any good news or any respite coming.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunshine and gusty today. It will be a little cooler with our afternoon high in the low to mid 70s. That wind kicking up between 30 and 40 miles per hour. Watch out for a little bit of blowing dust. Mid 30s and clear for the overnight hours, and then the wind eases off a little bit on Thursday. Still breezy. Sunshine and our high in the low 80s. We're in the upper 80s by Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 51 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 14%. Winds are out of the northwest at 16 miles per hour. Red flag warning once again for us today because of winds. I don't know. They're less than yesterday, but still pretty significant. But yeah, we have that red flag warning. That'll kick in at 9 this morning, remaining in effect through 8 p.m. this evening. Sunny today for us with a high of 71. Winds will be breezy out of the northwest, 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. So please, if you're out there today, you see it. We got wildfires everywhere, humidity at teens. It's wind. It's a bad recipe. That's why the red flag warning's there. You're seeing the evidence of what happens when this recipe for the weather's out there. Please don't be throwing cigarette butts out the windows. Don't be, parking those cars with the catalytic converters over weeds, and watch where you don't be welding outdoors and things. It's stuff like that. Just be smart about it. It's too easy to start a fire right now. Tonight, mostly clear. Overnight low of 35. Northwest winds 15 to 20. They'll drop down 5 to 10 after midnight tonight. Thursday, sunny. Warming back up. Highs near 80 tomorrow with northwest winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. That's the good news. 5 to 15. Won't kill for that. Thursday night, mostly clear with an overnight low of 44. South winds 10 to 15. They'll drop down 5 to 10 after midnight there too. Friday, sunny. High of 88. Winds will be out of the south 5 to 10. They'll pick up 10 to 15 for the afternoon. And then the weekend, break out the shorts again. Mostly sunny, 88 for a high on Saturday. Sunny, high of 88 on Sunday as well. And looks like we'll be floating around the 80s, low 80s for the first part of next week there. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, as long as those winds start dying down, that's the big thing. All right, it is 18 minutes after 7 o'clock. I think our guests are here, so let's go ahead and take about a 2.5-minute commercial break, and we'll talk to the ladies from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Whether you're buying or selling, no one likes to be pressured into making a decision. So when Roswell Ford makes an offer to buy your vehicle, you'll have 7 days to think about it. Roswell Ford is always looking for gently used cars and trucks like yours, and we'll make you a cash offer on the spot. It'll probably be more than the other guys, and we'll give you a week to think about it. That's just the way we do business at the Tailgate Nation. So it only makes sense to see us first when you're ready to sell or to buy. Roswell Ford has southeastern New Mexico's largest inventory of nice pre-owned vehicles. Each one has survived a rigorous 139-point inspection, and Roswell Ford gives you a 3-day money-back guarantee. So if you find something you don't like, you can just bring it back. With the days getting longer and summer driving on the horizon, now's the time to start shopping for your next vehicle. So come see us at Roswell Ford, the Tailgate Nation, where we'll always give you time to think about it. 9th and Main.
All right, let's get out the old grocery list here. Let's see, eggs, milk, bread, insurance. I want to shop for insurance.
Fortunately, you don't have to. George Gandy Insurance is here for you, shopping and comparing rates from different insurance carriers to save you money, time, and hassle. Visit a George Gandy Insurance location near you today.
We keep you covered. George Gandy Insurance.
Make your home a smart home with smart home Wi-Fi from Plateau. Now you can connect more devices to fast, reliable Wi-Fi throughout your home. That means faster speeds with no downtime or lag. Enhance your connection, expand your reach, and experience whole home device control and protection with Plateau. Plateau offers true fiber with options starting as low as $60 a month, all with no caps and no hidden fees. Call today, 575-755-1000, or stop by 1001 South Main in Roswell. Get smart home Wi-Fi today from Plateau. Tried, true, trusted.
You know what happens in the spring? It's cleanup time, and AC&B, HF Sinclair, Navajo Refining, and the Boy Scouts are at it again to help clean up our community. The Scouts will come to your house and haul off items that you need to dispose of and have no way of hauling. The dates for pickup are April 23rd, May 28th, June 4, and June 11. Just call 575-513-0143 and let me know when, where, and what. Take advantage of this free service and let's make Artesia clean and beautiful.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Ketchup was used as a medicine back in the 1930s. Mike uses ketchup to make friends. He doesn't have a lot of friends. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in the studio this morning from the Chaves County Federated Republic of Women, Teresa Barncastle, and also Nicole Rogers as well. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you doing today?
We're up and going early this morning.
It's like, I'm up.
I have coffee.
That's a start. And it's a big cup, too. It's at least a 32 ouncer, so I think you're good to go. I know I make you guys do this every time, but just to inform people that may not be familiar with the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. The title is pretty self-explanatory, but kind of talk about what the organization does.
Well, I've been involved. I'm the secretary now. Okay. And I've been a member for a couple years.
Are you a good note taker?
Yes.
Yeah, I got nominated as secretary on a couple boards, and I realized I'm not cut out for this job.
I think I over document. But that's okay.
Well, then you're on it.
Yes.
So that's I'm the opposite. I'm like, I'm supposed to write that down? Okay.
Yeah. So, but I have volunteered for several years. Okay. And I believe in the Federated Republican Women, trying to get younger people involved, start towing the line. But like I said, I volunteered for several years before, several hours knocking doors, campaigning, just helping with the club.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And the Chaves County Federated Republican Women is part of the New Mexico Federation of Republican Women.
So it's like a chapter of a bigger organization.
It is, and we have a national. In fact, I was there 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
In Alexandria, Virginia.
DC area.
I got to meet Winsome, Ella Sears.
Oh,
there we go. I got to meet her.
Okay.
We had some amazing speakers, but there's 16 clubs in New Mexico right now. We're in the process of adding one, and then we'll, as soon as later on this week, we'll be starting to add two more.
Okay.
So
I'm just curious, the other clubs in New Mexico, are they like county, or are they like an Albuquerque, or is it city county, or is it a little bit of both? Or?
Normally it's by county. In Albuquerque, we do have 3 clubs plus one that's called Sandburn.
Okay.
And then in the Four Corners area, it's all the Four Corners area.
Gotcha.
But no, we have Taos. The one that we're starting is going to be called Enchanted North.
Okay.
And it takes in the Angel Fire area, Eagle Nest, Cimarron, that area. But all of us have the same goal of electing Republican candidates and passing along the Republican values.
Sure. And of course, your kind of mission has been over, this last 6 months here is really spotlighting Republican candidates running for office throughout the state of New Mexico. So I know a lot of your monthly meetings and things have been geared towards introducing people to candidates and things. And I imagine you're probably still in the midst of that, at least through June here. And then after the primary, then everyone rallies the party around the candidates that won. And they're going to be going here in the general in November. So
I think Nicole has a list of who we have, but we just had our Republican candidate forum for governor.
Yeah.
And that was an amazing turnout.
And I think they all turned out, right?
No, we had Marhog was not on the ballot yet.
Okay.
And Ronchetti had another commitment.
Gotcha.
But the other 3 were there.
Okay.
We are so blessed. We are absolutely blessed with our candidates.
And then right on the heels of that, you had the forum for the lieutenant governor as well, too, if I remember
That was
right.
the next day.
Yeah.
That was at the luncheon. And we've got some others coming up.
Yeah, so April 20th, we have our probate judge, Clark Cull.
Okay.
Assessor Sandra Stewart. And then our commissioners, Dara Dana, Mike Perry, and Matthew Rael. And then Mike Harrington.
Matthew pulled out.
Oh,
All right.
there you go.
So maybe
So
the
just
audience.
Mike Perry.
Okay, very good. But so focusing a lot of county and those issues for this next meeting here. So
It
or
is.
the candidates and things.
Yes.
Very good. Good deal. And of course, this is something. And when is it's April 20th, and you guys are going to be? Is it going to be at the
Civic Center.
Convention and Civic Center here? Of course, this is open to what any Republicans that want to come and watch. Right?
Absolutely. The
Yeah.
more that want to come, the merrier. We do ask that you RSVP, and there's a number.
Yeah, because
that-
they feed you, right? You get to eat and all that good.
Yes, there is I think it's $16
Yes.
to
Okay.
eat the meal, and we need to RSVP for that. But anyone could come. We'll throw out an extra chair.
Yeah.
And so in May, we are having our scholarship winner come and join us for lunch.
Oh, cool. All right, and so I'm guessing is the scholarship winner like has this person already been to school for a little bit, or is it brand new?
Though it goes to a Chaves County High School senior.
It's high school, okay.
Yes, high school.
I was just kind of curious, as like a recap of how they've been doing, or like what they're getting ready to get into.
This would be the next phase of their life. We
Gotcha.
need to-
Okay.
Even though they're going to get tuition paid,
Okay.
there's still books, there's room, there's board. I know that I worried about my children eating, so
Yeah, college is expensive. Just the tuition part, that's only one hurdle.
Absolutely.
And and that's great because a lot of time these scholarships help the students do those kind of things. Yeah, like you said, tuition's paid for, but maybe it can go towards books or board or paying bills to survive while going to school. Well, either way, it's all useful to the student. But I know because you guys do scholarships in years, I didn't know if this was like one that maybe won last year that's coming back to say, hey, now I'm close to being the leader of the world or whatever.
that might be a good idea.
Yeah, I know because I'm involved with historical society, and of course we do. We're more of a not the scholar. We're more of the conduit more than the people that are. We have great donors that donate money
Yes.
for this, but we kind of have a lot where you talk to some of these students that come back, and now they've been doing great at UNM or all over the country, and they come back and visit, and so I imagine you guys keep tabs on some of your scholarship winners and things too.
We have heard back from them.
Yeah.
It's
always nice to hear that because I mean, you want to do these great things, and it's awesome that these opportunities come. But when you kind of see the proof in the pudding when they come back, and you're like, oh wow, that scholarship, man, look, they're an adult now and responsible, and you're like, and so in some way you're like, I kind of had a hand in it a little bit,
Yeah.
and so it's pretty cool to see that. So, but you can come here in May. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves. And come meet this year's winner,
Yes.
and see what they have to say and see where they're going and where their future lies. So.
And then after that, in June, we're going to start with the other candidates. Chaves County has a unique situation that I think we only have right now one contested race locally.
Which makes the June primary that much more important because the people in that primary will be deciding those positions that are uncontested, like you're saying.
Yes, but in June is whenever we'll start between the Republicans and then the other parties. So we're going to be really pushing for get out the vote because we will have our governor's race, lieutenant governor. Of course, they'll
It's
run
an important
together.
election year, yeah.
Very important. And so we will be really, voting is, some people say, well, that's a privilege. Well, it's not. It's a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You have a responsibility to choose your leadership. So we want everybody to get out to vote.
Well, that is your true ability to say what you think. I mean, yeah, we got lots of forums to say what you think. Facebook, whatever, this one. But at the end of the day, the one that matters is the ballot box. And
Absolutely.
so that's why it's so important for you. You can sit there and pontificate on Facebook all day long. But it ain't doing a hill of beans any good unless you go out and vote.
Right.
And everybody's vote does count. I mean, here in Chaves County twice now, they've had to have a runoff, not a runoff, but a tie, where it was chosen with a deck of cards.
Wow.
That's happened twice.
It's scary like that sometimes, isn't it? When you're like, man, that's a lot riding on a card game.
Yes.
Or a game of rock, paper, scissors.
But we're like I said, we're blessed to have so many wonderful candidates.
Yeah.
That's when it really gets close.
You're right. And I'll be honest, at the level of races we're talking about here, the local positions and things, and I say this every single time to folks, those are the positions that really impact your day-to-day lives much more so than the races, the sexy big races. I mean, don't get me wrong. Your presidential and gubernatorial races are very important. You need to pay attention to those. But the amount of information and research you do for those positions, you need to be doing for your county commissioners, your city council members, the folks that you actually might see every day. And because those decisions, and you got to be much better about it, because at the end of the day, these are people we live with, people we share the community with, and we got to be more adult with each other on that stuff. But by default, we also need to understand what's good, and you know what I mean. It's I get politics. I'm not a fan of politics, but how you do politics in D.C. and how you do politics in Chaves County, I don't think should be the same. You know what I mean? Because of the impact it does that way. But anyway, doing your research, doing your information, that's so important. So that was the point I'm making, is put as much importance in your decisions you make for county and city level elected officials as you would for a governor or for a president.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what the Republican women offer, is that forum for people to go and educate themselves that typically you don't have anywhere else.
Yeah.
Where else in Roswell are you going to be able to, every month at least be able to meet your candidates?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
And let's be honest, these are folks that you're actually going to be able to walk up and talk to and say, hey, I've got an issue here. And that is so much more because, we all see it. We all live it. We're not talking to someone that's like in an ivory tower somewhere that maybe not be connected to what we're talking about here, which is kind of the feeling you get when you get to president and all those things. But here, I mean, yeah, it's like I knew that person. I went to school with them. I went to, you know what I mean? That's just how life is. So you gotta understand it, and I almost think, and this is where it gets trickier at this level, because you got to separate friendship from policy, and at the end of the day, we can all be friends, but when it comes to the policy, that's where we got to say, you know what, we need to be firm on this here, and that's really where you doing your research, coming to these forums, listening to each candidate, hear what they have to say, ask them and talk to them more about policy and what they want to do, and less about what you think about so and so. I mean?
Right.
That's kind of where I'm going with this. Right. It's like, what's the person in the job going to do? And that's the kind of stuff that you guys are trying to present to people to give them an opportunity to say, all right, that's all well and good, but can they do the job?
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Our senators and our representatives that are here in Chaves County, they have. People need to go online and watch the live feed because they get up and they fight for their citizens. They are hard workers.
Yeah.
I mean, hours and hours. And so they really do represent Chaves County very well.
Sure. And here's another thing. We talk about making decisions for you to decide who you vote for, but also if you want to get more involved. And that's the thing. These campaigns and stuff, they just don't magically happen by themselves. It takes a lot of manpower, it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of time and effort. So if you're coming to these meetings and you're listening to one of the cans, like, whoa, this person, where'd they come from? I've never, heard talk like this before or something. And I want to get involved. I want to be involved. This is those opportunities. You can make those connections through the Chaves County Federated Republican Women and say, hey, you love so-and-so's campaign? There's their campaign manager. Reach out to them. I'm sure they can find a spot for you on the team there.
Oh, yeah. Nicole here, how many phone calls did you make for Trump?
20, 30,000.
Yes. And hours that you walked?
Hundreds. I mean, thousands. I've knocked on thousands of doors.
I hope you got that phone plan where you don't pay by the minute.
No, I didn't.
Exactly.
I hope you got a little rollover minutes or something.
Right.
And this is what is so nice about having the Federated Republican Women is that So in Oklahoma, they are a solid red state, and most of their races are actually chosen in the primary, like what happens in Chaves County.
Sure.
But it happens statewide. So through networking, Lori, who's the president of Oklahoma,
Okay.
She and I connected because I'm the president of New Mexico.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But Oklahoma is going to be making phone calls after the primary for New Mexico.
Okay. So it really is a team effort. So they're saying, all right, we got our deal covered. What other areas that have a federated Republican women can we jump in and help booster their trenches a little bit here?
Yes, and the people from
Nice.
Chaves County, the ladies, they're going to be able to go and help in Downtown County because most of our races will be decided.
Good deal. And what I like about that, too, is where, like you said, some of the support, the financial, that kind of stuff, but it's being run by people here. And what I mean by that is like, hey, we're getting you money, but what you do with it is going to be the experts that are actually there. Where in federal government terms, sometimes that's not always the case. Like, here's money, but you got to do this and this. I don't care that you don't need it for that. You're going to use it for this. And that's that mindset.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty cool where you can kind of mobilize. And if you need to bring in the big guns, but the big guns are still directed by the people here in town in England.
Well, when Youngkin ran in Virginia, there was ladies here in New Mexico making phone calls. Well, actually,
Oh, wow.
New Mexico, Texas, and California, they were all volunteering phone calls you can do from your home. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys must really be into this because, I mean, I have enough trouble staying tabs on what's going on in my own backyard, let alone what's going on in Michigan or in Minnesota or somewhere like that,
There's some really important issues out there that, we're very strong,
Sure.
the whole Republican ideals and values and everything that we want to promote. And we're
Let me ask this guy, talking about volunteers for campaigns and things, but what if there's more women and men, I should throw this out, and men that are maybe interested in getting more directly involved with the Chaves County Federated Republican Women? Because again, all the support you guys are giving for everybody else, that, again, just doesn't magically happen. It takes boots on the ground. It takes resources.
Takes our membership.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we always encourage people to become members. Women, it's $35 a year.
Okay.
That helps to the cause.
Okay.
And you have the ability to stay informed. You get on an email list. We have social media, which is open to anyone. Also, our social media. So, to be an associate member is $25. We have our youngest associate member, Isabella Kennard.
Nice.
She was 2 months when she became a member.
Nice.
But our sole goal is to educate.
Is parents going to make her pay that back when she
probably,
can get her job?
yeah. Maybe she can apply for the scholarship.
I don't know about. My kids had a tab. I had a notebook. Okay, you owe me.
Write the bill for the kid. Oh yeah, you owe for your membership. It's $30.
Right. But when you look at it, it's not that much, for the year, and it really does help the overall cause. And if we're all on the same team as we should be, I mean, then it. Like I said, it can only help, and it gets the information out. It educates the voters.
Sure. And then obviously, regardless of candidates, it's all about conservative values of the Republican Party, and that's at first and foremost. And I tell you, the women, the Chaves County Federated Republican women, have to kind of play neutral right now.
Yes.
They don't endorse a particular candidate. They kind of try to help them all and be a conduit for them to get their stuff out. But once the primary is over, then it's rally and circle the wagons, and everybody backs their horses in the general election here. And so you're going to see I'm guessing you're going to see a shift in your mission statement really after the primary here. Right now it's inform, and then afterwards it's going to be campaign.
And get out the vote.
Yeah.
That is so important.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's your responsibility to pick the best candidate.
Yeah. And so I'm guessing as your mission shifts here in the couple months, the need for more people, the more boots on the ground, the more volunteers are going to be needed. So you're actually getting in at a good time if you're really wanting to get involved and help make a difference.
Right.
Yeah, and we really want our young people. Even if you're in high school, you can still volunteer.
Yeah.
You can go out there and walk help out on campaign, help out at headquarters, handing out brochures, giving out information.
It's a great way to learn for younger people too. Formal training, classroom, all of that's important, but a lot of your lessons you learn in life by experiencing it. And as a young person coming and getting involved, you kind of get a chance to see how the sausage is made a little bit. And that's an invaluable experience, whatever, especially if you're pursuing a career in public service or anything dealing with human beings, social work, whatever it is. You're going to get a lot of insight on people by doing this kind of stuff. So not only are you helping, but you're actually helping yourself very much as well, too, and gaining. So you young college or high school age, those kids that are, and especially if you have dreams or pursuits to go in fields that are kind of related to that. Maybe it's marketing. You know what? You'll learn a lot about marketing and politics.
Right.
But I'm saying you could use this as a conduit to be your stepping board for whatever you want to do next. And that's what it's all about.
In any field, there are rules, laws, regulations, all that affect you on a day-to-day basis. And this is how you get that information. And I remember in junior high, I went down to someplace, headquarters of some kind, and had to get information on a candidate for a debate. And that was my first exposure to politics.
Yeah.
I don't remember the candidate, but
now look what happened. Now you're the president of the New Mexico chapter.
I took a few years off. And, yeah.
But what we're saying is for younger folks, this is a chance to better yourself, but also give back in the community tier and learn. And here's another great thing about it is because we live in a small community and everything's connected. Maybe coming in through the Chaves County Federated Republic of Women, you're going to meet other people that are involved in, say, Kiwanis or, all the other civic organizations or church groups or things. And maybe that's your foothold into some of that, too. Where, that's how a community works. It's like, oh, yeah, I know so-and-so from over here. And now they're, that's... So it really is an opportunity for you to kind of be a part of the community, learn about our community, but at the same time bettering the community and yourself. So yeah, look into it, volunteer, maybe come to April 20th or the next get together here and talk to some of the Chaves County Federated Republic of Women. Now, I made a joke earlier. You can be a male and be a part of the Chaves County Federated Republic of Women. It's kind of like an auxiliary type, right? Is that associates?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in American Legion, so we use terms like auxiliary. But
another thing, we have our meetings during the lunch hour.
Yes, so it's kind of not going to take up your nights if you got the kids and everything, or soccer practice, or church, or whatever,
or work.
Yeah. And they feed you, or you can get lunch there, so you can actually eat at your lunch too.
You can.
You know what I like to do during lunch? What's that? Eat.
And it's central. It's pretty close to everywhere. It's right in the middle of town.
So it's right there in the middle, and the food's pretty good over there. If you haven't had a chance to have some of the now I'm talking about food. Do you guys know the menu for the 20th yet? Or
oh my gosh,
I hadn't heard.
All right,
I did hear, but I didn't.
I think it's a egg salad.
Send me a note and let me know, because everyone runs on their stomachs, man.
Yeah, and it's reasonable. It's $16, and it's a nice plated meal, and so it's,
and you really do get a chance to meet and talk to. And another great part is because these, you see them up on the podium talking to you, but before and after they're right there. So if you want to ask them about some personal questions, things that you want to know about, you get a chance to talk to them. And, it's, if you're thinking, well, I remember so-and-so, how do you feel about this? And they're right there. You can talk to them and say something about it. And I'm telling you that's invaluable to have that information, because you really you get to inform yourself about what you think about people that you're potentially voting for these offices.
Exactly.
So come out. April 20th. It's during lunch hour, about 11 to what time's everything get underway?
It's going to start right at noon.
Right at noon.
Yeah,
so
doors open at 11:30.
Okay.
Yeah, we start eating right beforehand, and then the meeting starts at noon.
Okay. And through the Facebook, is it the best way to RSVP, or is there a better way to do that?
You could probably Facebook if you don't have, there's emails.
Okay.
But Facebook has all that information on there.
So if you go look for Chaves County Federated Republic of Women
Yes.
On Facebook, try to get as much of those words in there in your search as you can. And if you get Chaves County Federated, it probably
should pop up
right up.
Yes. Yep.
And then you can follow, and then if you have questions or shoot a message, you're like, hey, I heard you on the radio. How do I get involved? Or how do I RSVP? And they'll be like, oh, we got you. And how many you got coming?
And
you gotta bring a friend, right? You can't go to lunch by yourself.
Exactly.
You gotta bring a friend.
Gotta bring a friend.
And mine, I'm old school. I'm old. And my number's still in the book, so I'm the only Barncastle in the book.
Okay.
So if you don't have Facebook, just give me a call and I'll pass the information on.
I'm just curious, since you mentioned that, do you know your the family name history where Barncastle comes from?
Yes,
it's a unique, cool name. I'm just curious.
It's from Bernard Castle, or where the Blarney Stone is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so you got a little Irish in you.
No, my husband.
Your husband? Oh, that's right. You're by marriage, so.
No, I am 99% English. I just did the DNA thing.
Well, I'm 60% Irish and English in there, so I know a little bit about. I like the Blarney Stone and drink the green beer and eat the corned beef and cabbage, too.
No, I have a town in England called Moberly, and I'm Mobley, so it was Moberly.
It's just a cool name that almost sounds like, when I hear it, I think of Red Baron and Stormin', when I hear Barncastle, crop dusting,
I think a little
Stoke
Irish leprechauns or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like some World War II ace pilot. Barncastle, got 37 kills. Anyway, I get sidetracked sometimes. But I just saw the time. We probably should wrap this up here. But is there a phone number they call? Give the phone number one more time. There.
You can call my house at 625-2615.
Very good.
Like I said, it's in the book under Barncastle.
Yeah, and again, like you said, look for Chaves County Federated Republican Women on Facebook, and mark April 20th on your calendars. That's the next Chaves County Federated Republican Women meeting, and come on out. And this time we're going to be focusing a lot on some of the county candidates, some county commissioners, some county level positions. They're going to be available to talk to the group there on that date. And then of course, come hungry and get your meal and everything else there too. Is there anything we missed? Anything we wanted to make sure we got out there?
I think we've covered most of it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure people do come out. Mike Perry is a new candidate.
Okay.
And now that we did,
so we need to learn about him.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's a hometown guy.
Gotcha.
Graduated Roswell High. He and his wife Kim are from here.
Okay.
So he's come back. And
what's industries in? I'm just curious. His name sounds familiar, but I don't ring a bell, and that's why I'm trying to place him.
He was with Game and Fish.
Okay.
And then he finished off with, I think, the Attorney General's office for New Mexico, where he finished his career.
Okay.
But he was in Game and Fish in this area for many, many, many years.
Nice. So he's probably got some ins and outs on the farming, ranching, hunting, fishing.
There you go.
Some of the more hotbed issues nationally that they like to sit here and meddle in our area.
Yes, right. Yes,
right.
we did check them out.
Very good. Well, thank you, ladies. Appreciate the visit.
Thank you.
Thank you for getting up early this morning. I know.
Coffee.
Well, we can top that off if we need to as well. But we'll see you guys next time. Appreciate it.
Sounds good.
Have a great day, okay?
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right.
It is 7:48. Let's go ahead and pause for some local news. Your Kim Commando update, Chaves County Sports. I'm just going to rattle them all off. Town Hall business and quick commercial break to pay for lunch. We'll be back.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. We begin with a developing story out of Lincoln County, where the county has declared an emergency because of a wildfire. Tuesday, the McBride fire reportedly has grown to about 3,200 acres, according to InsaWeb. Evacuation orders were in place for Ruidoso north of the high school, including Gavilan Canyon Road, Homestead Loop, Eagle Creek, Blue Lake Drive, Miramonte Road, and east of Fort Stanton Road. A Red Cross shelter was set up at Ruidoso Convention Center. And we're learning that the U.S. government's nuclear waste repository was evacuated last weekend after workers handling a shipping container discovered a small amount of radioactive liquid inside it. There's no indication of airborne contamination. Testing of workers' hands and feet showed no contamination after the discovery was made late Saturday in a bay where the containers are processed before being taken underground for disposal. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
We know that when using Twitter, we're being manipulated and often misled. And now we know why. About half of all Twitter accounts are handled by bots. Twitter has known this for some time, but can't seem to do anything about it. Perhaps Elon Musk will. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by ExpressVPN. Secure your online data and get an extra 3 months free at expressvpn.com/Kim. After rummaging through more than 200 million tweets discussing COVID-19 since this January alone, researchers at Carnegie Mellon University claim that more than half of those tweets were not done by real human beings, but by bots. Meanwhile, the New York Times is out with an article bemoaning the fact that Elon Musk is buying Twitter shares. The Times refers to that as Elon Musk's antics. That he may even take over the company is, according to the Times, treacherous. Now, one thing is certain. At the very least, things are not right at Twitter. How much worse or better could it be under Elon Musk's full control? I'm Kim Commando.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like the course keeps changing right before your eyes. And in order to maneuver it, you need an expert by your side. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PC and tech solutions you need to help you get out in front and stay ahead of the game. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
When you need a hand with your tech, getting it to work, making it better, finding an online job, or maybe just wondering how to stream the best way, ask me 24/7 at the Commando Community Forums. I'll help you there along with other pros. And for a limited time, you can get 30 days of complete access for free at getkim.com. And if your listening of the show gets interrupted for whatever the reason, you can download and listen to the show's podcast too. That's getkim.com for 30 days free access. GetKim.com.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunshine and gusty today. It will be a little cooler with our afternoon high in the low to mid 70s. That wind kicking up between 30 and 40 miles per hour. Watch out for a little bit of blowing dust. Mid 30s and clear for the overnight hours, and then the wind eases off a little bit on Thursday. Still breezy. Sunshine and our high in the low 80s. We're in the upper 80s by Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Hey, New Mexico. Experiencing issues keeping your office technology up to date with these crazy supply chain issues? Well, DSI is here to help. We've diversified our products and solutions to help your business not just survive, but thrive in any situation. Have your teams collaborate and share with high-def video walls and interactive smart panels. With free unlimited support, the fear of any new technology is a thing of the past. Contact DSI today to upgrade your workspace. www.dsinm.com.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Well, we had a lot of postponements yesterday because of the weather, and here's where it's been rescheduled. Roswell was supposed to play at Hobson, a softball doubleheader yesterday. Well, that game, those two games have been moved to next Monday at 4:30, and the Goddard Rockets softball team, which was supposed to host Artesia yesterday in a twin bill, well, that's just been moved to today, so that's not a severe change. That's supposed to start today at 4:30. Roswell against Hobbs baseball in Roswell, that's been moved to Monday at 5 o'clock. We did have games yesterday, though, believe it or not. East Mountain defeated Dexter in Dexter by a score of 11-9, and it was... Yeah, that was it. Okay. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Inflation soared over the past year at its fastest pace in more than 40 years, with the cost for food, gasoline, housing, and other necessities squeezing American consumers and wiping out the pay raises that many people have received. The Labor Department said Tuesday that its Consumer Price Index jumped 8.5% in March from 12 months earlier, the sharpest year-over-year increase since 1981. Prices have been driven up by bottlenecked supply chains, robust consumer demand, and disruptions to global food and energy markets worsened by Russia's war against Ukraine. President Biden said Tuesday his administration will suspend a federal rule that bars higher levels of ethanol in gasoline during the summer. The move, which Biden announced during a visit to Iowa, is intended to help lower the prices at the pump that have spiked during Russia's war with Ukraine. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Join Church on the Move Good Friday, April 15th from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. for an outdoor fun-filled family night with a free Easter egg hunt for kids ages 12 and under. Every age group that participates in the egg hunt will have a chance to win prizes, including Nintendo Switches and lots of free candy. Plus, Church on the Move will have a free feeding and petting zoo with over 40 animals, including zebras, llamas, yaks, and kangaroos. Free mechanical bull, surfboard, blow-up games, and free paintballing for the teenagers. We'll also have our local food trucks on hand with all of your favorite food. Come and join in on this fun-filled family night on Good Friday at Church on the Move, 901 West Brasher in Roswell, starting at 5:30 p.m.
If your car breaks down, no need to cry, because there's always a pal nearby at Big O. At Big O Tires. Locally owned will get you in gear. That's because you've known us for years at Big O. And Big O Tires. Don't need to sweat any extra labor. You can always trust a good neighbor at Big O. At Big O Tires. The best service is part of our code. Need a cup of sugar? We're down the road at Big O. At Big O Tires.
Now through April 24th, buy 3, get 1 free on Mesa AP3, Mesa HT, Cooper Endeavor, and Cooper Endeavor Plus brand tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Installation charges extra. Required on all 4 tires. Disposal fees extra and up to 10% shop fee based on non-discounted regular retail price. Not to exceed $35 where permitted. Eligibility may vary. Not valid with other offers. At participating locations, no cash value. Some stores in Missouri, Minnesota, and Kansas are company owned.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
Coming to the Liberty, Thursday, April 21st. Don't miss an evening with Reckless Kelly.
Ragged as the road I'm on.
With special guest, Hooks and the Huckleberries. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 7:30. Tickets are on sale now. Get yours before they're gone.
Now I'm double fisting on this grapefruit story, but I'm never getting over Joey.
For information on how you can become a bona fide member, visit thelibertyinc.com. Don't miss an evening with Reckless Kelly, Thursday, April 21st at the Liberty.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The verb form of the word run has been calculated to have almost 650 different meanings. So think about that the next time you run up your tab at the bar, and then run into a friend while you run away from the bartender. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:57. Stay tuned next hour here about 8:15 or so. We're going to have Superintendent for the Roswell Independent School District, Brian Luck, join us. Last night, I should say. I tried to say yesterday and last night. The same didn't come out. Last night, they had their school board meeting, so we'll get the skinny recap on all of that. Of course, we just had the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. If you missed that interview, you can go back at your leisure, ksvptv.com, and check it out and get all the information there. Let's see. Of course, with the Easter weekend, got a lot going on with Easter events, churches all over having Good Friday and Easter Sunday services and celebrations. Of course, couple I have right off the top of my head here, Westminster Presbyterian Church and Victory Outreach Roswell. They're going to have their big Easter weekend. They're going to start off with an Easter egg hunt Saturday, April 16th, 2 p.m. there at Westminster Presbyterian Church, 2801 West 4th Street. It's a free event. They're going to do an egg hunt from 2 to 4. They're going to have, for kids, all kinds of stuff, food, games, all kind of stuff. And then, of course, their Sunday services as well on Sunday. And then, of course, Church on the Move, they've got their big Good Friday family night Easter egg hunt and everything that's going to be happening this Friday, April 15th from 5:30 to 8:30. They'll have an Easter egg hunt for kids 12 and under, a big free petting zoo with exotic animals like kangaroos and llamas and yaks. And local food trucks are going to be on hand. And, of course, they're going to, in the Easter egg hunt, they have golden eggs where kids can win Nintendo Switches and lots of other great prizes. But it's 5:30 to 8:30 Friday night. And then, of course, Sunday, April 17th, you're invited to come out for services at 9 a.m., 10:45 a.m., and at 12:30 p.m. And I know First United, they all got their Easter services and things there. So lots of, and of course, all week long is the Holy Week, and they've got the 5 different churches doing the different hosting. And I want to say it's I think it's St. Andrews today, or that was yesterday. I don't know off the top of my head. I apologize. All right, it is 8 o'clock. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back on the other side. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. He's still out there. The man New York City police want to talk to about yesterday morning's mass shooting on a crowded subway car in Brooklyn.
We still are zeroing in on the person of interest, and we are sure we're going to apprehend him.
New York Mayor Eric Adams on NBC's Today Show says that police are hunting for 62-year-old Frank R. James. Gunman fired at least 33 shots, hitting 10 people. Adams says that more of New York's finest are going underground.
The subway is the lifeblood of our city, and we're saying to New Yorkers, we want you to be vigilant. We're going to have the patrol strength out there to make sure uniform presence is there. And, New Yorkers are extremely vigilant, as we saw yesterday.
Authorities say the person of interest made a series of threatening online posts railing against Adams and threatening to kill people. Russia's Vladimir Putin throwing cold water on the idea of a peace deal with Ukraine. Amid a Russian troop buildup in eastern Ukraine, Putin vows the war will continue. Meanwhile, Ukraine does have a lot of friends, and some of them are visiting Kiev to meet with President Zelensky.
Twitter posts by the leaders show them standing outside a Ukrainian railroad passenger car. Estonian President Alar Karas says in his post, "We're visiting Ukraine to show strong support to the Ukrainian people and to meet with our dear friend President Zelensky." Poland, Latvia and Lithuania's leaders are also on the trip. I'm Charles Thuladesma.
The Labor Department says the surging cost of energy pushed wholesale prices up a record 11.2% last month from a year earlier. Another sign that inflationary pressure is widespread across the U.S. economy. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 41 points, the NASDAQ 60 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This Easter holiday, see the movie based on the inspiring true story.
Figured it out. I'm going to be a priest.
For Halloween.
Of Father Stu.
No one wants to hear the gospel from the mouth of a gangster.
Academy Award nominee Mark Wahlberg.
Maybe that's exactly what they need.
And Academy Award winner Mel Gibson.
Man don't lose when he gets knocked down, but when he won't get up.
God ain't giving up on you. Don't you dare go giving up on yourself.
When the man comes around. Father Stu, now playing exclusively in theaters. Rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I love your product. I've been taking it now for 2.5 weeks. I love it. I've owned my own businesses all my life, and when you own, you naturally do more than what you expect anybody else to do. So I'm going to tell you, I love the capsules.
Balance of Nature is now offering 35% off on any new preferred order. Go to balanceofnature.com today and use discount code BALANCE.
British consumer prices rising at their fastest clip in 30 years, fueled by soaring energy costs.
The Office of National Statistics reports that inflation accelerated to 7% in the 12 months through March. That's the highest annual rate since March 1992. The UK is facing what economists say will be the biggest drop in living standards since the mid-1950s, as rocketing energy costs, rising food prices, and tax increases overshadow higher wages.
That's correspondent Jeremy House. U.S. and Japanese warships conducting joint naval exercises in the waters between Japan and the Korean Peninsula for the first time in 5 years. It is a show of their close military alliance amid growing speculation of North Korean missile or nuclear testing later in the week. Defense experts warn the North may launch another missile or even conduct a nuclear test. News and analysis at townhall.com. A website known for publishing crowdsourced business reviews will pay the travel expenses of employees who go out of state for an abortion.
Yelp joins the ranks of major employers trying to circumvent abortion restrictions in Texas and other states. The announcement Tuesday covers all 4,000 employees at the online review service, but seems most likely to have its biggest immediate impact on its 200 workers in Texas, which has passed a law banning abortions within the state after 6 weeks of pregnancy. New York's Citigroup recently disclosed plans to do the same for its more than 200,000 employees. Keith Peters reporting.
Israeli forces shot and killed a Palestinian man during clashes earlier today as Israeli troops continue a days-long operation in the West Bank in response to a spate of deadly Palestinian attacks on Israelis. Once again on Wall Street, the Dow is up 37 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
Deuces
of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday.
Yes.
Hope you're all having a delightful day so far. I just, the most recent update from the McBride Fire 2022 Facebook page is they're going to have an update soon.
Yeah.
That's the
They're
update.
updating us that the update will come soon, and then we'll have an update to the update.
Yeah, officially they say we'll have an update mid-morning as night crews are returning home, returning from their shifts with more information.
Basically, at shift changes is when it seems like we're getting
Sure,
a lot of
well, that's
info.
where you get the intel from the boots on the ground, so to speak, and then they report.
That's where the sheepdog is clocking out. I'm trying to remember that old cartoon. Do you remember the one I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. One sheepdog was clock out and the other was clock in.
Yeah, I do
Morning,
remember.
George. Hey, Bob. And they just walk by each other.
Yeah, they got to do that, and then they'll give us an update. But obviously, for folks that are have family or themselves or whatever, if you're listening and you're there, the best resource I've found for getting information for this fire is that McBride Fire 2022 Facebook page. It's run by some of the public information officers that are assigned to this fire, so that's probably about as official as it comes.
Yeah,
so.
It seems like they have the most up-to-date info.
Yeah. So that's as far as the Nogle Canyon fire. Last I heard, still was at 350 acres, 0% containment. Nothing new there. As I hear some stuff, I'll let you know on that. Right. So, but that's the latest. We'll talk school here this hour. Brian Luck, Roswell Independent School District Superintendent, will join us here.
He told me to set him up before he came in. I'm like, oh, that's fine.
Set him up.
I will. But it's like there's stuff going on up the hill, and it sort of makes things hard to add the levity into it. I know that's sort of like my job, dance clown dance. But oh boy,
wow,
what's the update?
Nothing. I'm just seeing. Matter of fact, one of our connections here is their son is actually a firefighter and is part of this fire, and sent a picture back of some of the. So actually, but it's one of those things where it's scary but oddly beautiful. This picture, I don't know if you can.
Oh wow!
Yeah. of the glowing embers and the fire.
Is there any way we could post that?
I don't know if it's not mine to post.
Can you get permission?
Maybe.
That's crazy, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, there's beauty in the in the tragedy, but that's...
Yeah, let me ask real quick, and I will...
It's like your phone's upside down.
Yeah, let me...
this is all happening live,
Well,
folks.
see, I'm not technically savvy that well, and so I don't do things fast.
Yeah, that's okay.
Can I?
Folks, this is why a good education is paramount. And funny we should mention that, because the superintendent for the Roswell Independent School District, Mr. Brian Luck, he'll be in here in just a few minutes to chit-chat with Mixmaster Mike all about the happenings, the goings-on with the Roswell Independent School District post-school board meeting and all the happenings over the last 24 to 48.
Text has been sent for permission, and then I will forward it to one hard R to get that up on the screen there for everybody. Well, actually, yeah, I was gonna say, but I was like, we still can't see it because our TV's not working in here this morning. But it's pretty crazy on what's going on.
It is. There.
And that picture I'm looking at it's. Like if it wasn't your own backyard, you look at it and like it's oddly beautiful. It looks it looks like one of those National Geographic.
It looks like a painting. It almost kind of looks like a starry night or something like that.
It's oddly beautiful, but just knowing what that is what's scary.
It is,
but very crazy.
But crews on the scene at the ready. I don't know. They still do the whole flyover with the. Like they do the scoop of the water thing?
Yeah, the air, whether it's either the bucket deal or that red slurry, whatever stuff they drop down from there. I'm sure they're doing both. Probably more so the slurry, more so than because for that other one, they got to have a big body of water nearby that's got water.
And that's, we don't really have a lot of that here.
So I don't know if... they're going to bottomless lakes or something and pick it up. I have no idea where they would pick up from. Lake Bonita, I don't even know if it's got enough water to do something like that. I don't know. But whatever. One of those, certainly not getting out the Rio Ruidoso there. So I don't know. Yeah. But I'm guessing it's more of the boots on the ground firefighter with the aircraft doing the whatever that slurry or whatever it is they spray, the retardant that they drop down on everything.
Right.
Yeah, whatever that stuff is. I remember when I was in the Air Force, and we were launching jets, and when you launch the jets, you have to have what's called an A-man and a B-man. The A-man is your crew chief that launches the jet.
Right.
The B-man is the guy that assists the launch. He basically, for the first part, he stands by the fire bottle and waits in case something happens. But then later on, he's pulling pins and kicking chalks and all that stuff. So anyway, I was B-manning for a launch one day, and at Holloman, with the 117s, the stealths, back then, they didn't launch them out on the tarmac. They have covered hangars and the doors on both sides open. They don't let those planes just sit out on the flight line.
Sure. Makes sense with the weather.
Yeah.
Roswell or South Mexico.
I got an absolutely on the chairing, so nice. I will as soon as I get to a stopping point where I can text it, then I will do that.
There you go.
But anyway, so I was sitting there and we were launching, and then one day, the fire suppression system, I don't know if the APU on the jet, something kicked it off. And these buildings have the fire suppression system. It's there's these pipes on the sides of the building that shoot this foam nasty stuff.
It just fills the space. Right.
But what happens is, by default, when it detects and the fire alarm goes off, the hangar doors start closing. And the fire goo starts shooting out. So me and the crew chief and the pilot are sitting in there while poof, and this thing goes off. And I was lucky because where the fire bottle sits and where I'm standing is between two nozzles. So as soon as it hits, on either side of me about 2 feet, this foam stream just goes shooting out. And so I'm just sitting there leaning against the pipe watching this place filling up. And they finally get the doors closed on. But meanwhile, this whole room's filled with foam, and I'm just standing there.
You're the guy who's supposed to be on the finger on the button. You're like, there's a thing, y'all.
There's clearly a malfunction of the system here.
That's great.
So yeah, that was fun. And then, of course, Guess who had to clean that one up?
Then you had to get the room defoamed.
Yeah. Oh, grab a broom, start pushing that stuff. Yeah, and it smelled. It was nasty.
Oh, I bet because it had been stored up in there for
And so I'm guessing it's something, whatever they drop on it, it's similar to that.
Yeah, probably some. And it's probably sat around for exactly the same amount of time.
Oh, man, it was funny but gross all at the same. Now, years later, I look back and laugh. But at the time,
I'm sorry, I'm imagining them dropping basically that white foamy substance on it and just turning the entirety of Ruidoso into like a marshmallow-covered wonderland.
Now that I take it back, at the time, no, I was a laughing smart guy because I remember I was sitting there. Here's your government taxpayer dollars at work, folks, and I'm just sitting there being sarcastic.
That's $5 grand. That's $10 grand. There's $20 grand worth of foam.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was smart aleck. Yeah, I was at that point where I could make smart comments and people just, oh, that's Mike.
You guys pay for that by the gallon, or?
Yeah, exactly. So
it's actually just like 15 drops of water and then like one box of baking soda and the whole thing.
Needless to say, I thought I was going to get off work the rest of the day and ended up pushing foam into water drains. That was pretty much it. So
that's a fun way to spend your time.
Yeah. It is 8:14. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather. Weather is brought to you by Bob Reed Pest Control. Bob Reed Pest Control. Protect your home from pests that invade. Call Bob Reed Pest Control today, 575-623-5344.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunshine and gusty today. It will be a little cooler with our afternoon high in the low to mid 70s. That wind kicking up between 30 and 40 miles per hour. Watch out for a little bit of blowing dust. Mid 30s and clear for the overnight hours, and then the wind eases off a little bit on Thursday. Still breezy. Sunshine and our high in the low 80s. We're in the upper 80s by Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Sorry, I was trying to text and I still haven't figured out how to save the picture. I'm such an idiot when it goes on my phone. Currently, 51 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is, let me refresh, actually. I was just looking and seeing. Humidity's at 8%. It's going down. Winds currently out of the north at 17 miles per hour. Man, that's a bad recipe for fire. Sunny today, a high of 71. Winds will be breezy. We got a little more, not as bad as yesterday, but still kind of breezy. Out of the northwest, 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear with an overnight low of 35 degrees. Northwest winds 15 to 20, dropping down 5 to 10 after midnight. Thursday, sunny skies, highs back up near 80 tomorrow. Winds much calmer. Out of the northwest, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, overnight low of 44. South winds 10 to 15. Dropping down 5 to 10 after midnight. Friday, sunny, 88 for a high. South winds 5 to 10 in the morning, shifting to the southwest and picking up 10 to 15 for Friday afternoon. Then looking at your weekend, mostly sunny and a high of 88 on Saturday. Sunny on Sunday, also a high of 88 degrees. All right, it is closing in on 8:17. We're going to take a 3-minute commercial break, and then Brian Luck, Roswell Independent School District Superintendent, will join us on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Mays Lumber has all the hard-to-find hardwood you've been looking for. Oak, cherry, walnut, poplar, and maple. Plus, hard-to-find exotic woods like purple heart, zebra wood, ambrosia maple, black limba, and bloodwood. Perfect for that one-of-a-kind gift piece or table. Get ready with Formica and Wilson Art countertops in 12-footer custom length with installation available. Make it happen at Mays Lumber, 115 South Virginia in Roswell, serving southeastern New Mexico and beyond since 1934.
Roll in and win during the Moneyopoly sales event at Roswell Nissan for 6 big days. Now through the 16th, get game-changing savings on a great selection of vehicles, like a 2017 Chevy Malibu for just $279 a month, a 2018 Escape for only $249 a month, or a 2015 Rogue for just $149 a month. Play the Plinko Cash Grab for your shot at cold hard cash and register to win a brand new swimming pool. Plus, bring your mailer in for a chance to win $50 grand. Moneyopoly on now at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
All right, let's get out the old grocery list here. Let's see, eggs, milk, bread, insurance. I don't want to shop for insurance.
Fortunately, you don't have to. George Gandy Insurance is here for you. Shopping and comparing rates from different insurance carriers to save you money, time, and hassle. Visit a George Gandy Insurance location near you today.
We keep you covered. George Gandy Insurance.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin and Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin and Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. The education assistance I received made it possible for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped get me to the first day at my dream job, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job, plus the other benefits possible from the Army National Guard, helped me become a first-time homeowner. Also, part of my role as a National Guard soldier means I know that I can be one of the first to respond and help my community if disaster ever strikes. I'm extremely proud that I get to serve my community, and that first step I took by joining the Army National Guard has made all the difference in my life. Talk to your local recruiter or visit NationalGuard.com to find out what firsts are available to you in the Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard, aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The word gorilla is derived from a Greek word meaning a tribe of hairy women. Mike recommends that if you see a tribe of hairy women, you don't call them gorillas. Here's Mike Winters.
You sure today's not Monday? You sure? I'm not sure. I think today's Monday.
I get if
because
you
I can't get a text right. I keep rolling over my headphone cord, and I can't put my headphones on. It's just a complete debacle in here.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
Good morning. It is 20 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us here is Superintendent for the RASD, Brian Luck. Good morning, sir. How you doing today?
It sounds like I might be doing better than you today.
Think
sir.
so?
Yeah,
I can't get out of my own way here. I'm a fumbling fool this morning. So, good news is he's calm, cool, collected all the time. It could be like a circus fire going in front of me. He's just like, just nothing to see here, folks.
Move along.
That's
Move
right.
along.
That's right. Well, last night the Roswell Independent School District School Board did meet,
yes, sir.
As they do each month, and of course the public's always invited and encouraged to come to these meetings. They meet the second Tuesday of every month. Is it 6 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
6 p.m.
Yes, sir, 6
at
p.m.
the RSD. There in the chambers there, and it is open to the only time it's not open is when they have a closed session for legal or personnel issues. Generally, that's about the only two reasons they go into closed session.
Yes,
so,
sir.
other than that, it's game on. So
it is, and you know what? At the start of our meeting last night, we had kind of what looked like almost more of a packed house. We had some recognitions. And
good. A lot of people to honor last night.
We did, and had some student presentations that it was so neat to see parents coming in and watching their kiddos do their thing for a second. So it felt right.
I know my wife was like, I got to tune in to start tonight because one of her students was part of the group doing the pledge, and
that's always fun.
And he was very excited to be doing that, and so it was really cool. So
so
she had to check that out.
Oh, and
for her kid.
we rotate them through. And I visited with one young man before, and I mean, he was focused. He was lasered in, and I was like, "Are you okay, buddy?" He didn't even say anything, and I just like, "Okay, I'm gonna leave you."
He's in the zone.
He is in the zone, and it's so neat to see that. I mean, that again, just getting back to I don't know that I want to say normal anymore, but getting back to average.
Sure.
And
getting back to the way it feels like it should be. Yeah,
that's how school board meetings start, and it's neat to see people standing in the back and being in there, and their kiddos get recognized, and then they go on and do what they're going to go do for the rest of the night. But,
it's sure nice to focus on the business of educating kids.
Yes,
not on the business of precautions.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly. Exactly.
Regulations and precautions and mandates. That's it's nice to get back to we got to talk about education and programs and the things that these kids do every day. And,
Well, and you know, I get tickled with, you know, like kind of like how you just said that right there. I mean, anybody that's ever worked in a school knows that you take a standard set of precautions on a day. I mean, there's just things that you do.
Yeah.
And but taking away and you know, washing your hands and you know, kind of making sure that you're not really, really close to people. That's not bad advice ever.
Sure.
But unfortunately, that's gotten tied to something else, and it's it's interesting when I have people saying you need to do away with staying away from each other and do away with this and do away with that, and I'm just like, you guys, we're working really good right now, and I'm super proud of where we're at.
Yeah.
Compared to where we started.
And it's never, ever, ever, ever wrong to take care of yourself.
Nope.
That's the idea.
That's exactly that.
Whether you're religious or not, even God says, "Hey, take care of your body." You know, that's what you got to do. And so that's priority one always. Take care of yourself. And yes, I get it. We don't like being told all that, but at the end of the day, that's the cost of doing business. And right now, that's what's got to happen. So be it.
Well, and again, we've got some hurdles. I mean, we're still kind of running through some leftover procedures.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to call them policies, but leftover procedures about things that we've had to do for 2 years. And,
sure.
Like we're
starting to lighten up.
We're getting there. Yeah. We're getting there. I mean,
I know. I know. What was it? About month ago, when they lifted the masks in the classrooms and all that.
You think I could give you the exact day, hour, and time,
right? But I remember, like when my wife, and it was fun and cute. It was like the principal announced over the loud, and my wife I just recorded the moment. I don't know, just so happened, and sure enough, she announced it, and it literally the whole school, her classroom is the perspective, but every classroom was doing the same thing. They were just cheering and taking their mask off, and it was a real kind of fun moment for these kids and parents and students and everybody. It was, I think, just nice for them to overcome that hurdle and to do stuff. So I like what you're saying is you're right. I think we're in a groove now, and now, you know, it's starting to feel like, I wouldn't say pre-COVID, but it's closer to that than it was 2 months ago or 6 months ago.
You know, the thing I want to just say thank you to, and this is a huge step in the right direction as far as our community goes. We've allowed, if teachers or students or parents would still like for their kids to wear a mask, we haven't taken that ability away. And knock on wood, you know, I don't want to jinx myself. I've not had one issue where kids were being made fun of, or parents said, you know, they felt pressured or anything like that. So that is, you know, there were some messages that had been resonated out there, and the one that I like is let me take care of me, and let me take care of mine.
Absolutely.
And I compliment everybody as far as where we're at.
I personally firmly believe in my heart that's a value of this country. That's part of what America is about, the ability to make your own decisions without repercussion from the government or from things like that. I mean, obviously, life's life. You make a decision, there's consequences for it, good, bad, indifferent. Every single decision you make, there's going to be good consequences and bad. It's just, that's life, folks. Right. But I do love the fact that this is a country where you can say, look, I want to go above and beyond to protect, or I don't think it's that important, and I have that right to be that way without fear of a government persecuting me or disabling me from doing that. So I'm very much for that. So I want to remind folks that equally think that to go the other way. If that same right that protects you from not wearing that mask is the same right that allows that person to wear it if they want to, and you need to respect that.
Well, and again, I mean, when you're talking about kids, you know, I mean, that obviously, you know, the taboo and the cliche, I mean, that's our future, and it is. But like I said, just the ability to walk into a building and just see normalcy, and you can see it in their eyes and their faces. You know, what you can see that they're not worried about. They're not worried about it. They're just they're going on about their business.
Yeah, it's back to school.
Back to school.
Worrying about I got a test tonight, and I got to make sure test tomorrow, and I got to make sure I'm ready for it, and things like that.
You mean like the SAT? Yes, actually, we're giving that one today at our high school. So that was a nice segue right there. Yes,
I meant to do that.
Well done. Well done.
I'll do the Don Knotts. Yeah, that was Barney Fife. I might be dating myself a little bit by that reference, but anyway.
No, but we on that we are giving the SAT at our three high schools. Four pardon me, I'll get it right here in a minute. 4 high schools today. So
is that and this is because I went to school East Coast, so
Yes.
I grew up in the SAT was it. It was the there was the ACT, but that was kind of an afterthought. I know out west it's a little different, but it's been a few years since I've been to school, but I imagine is SAT, ACT carry same weights or different way? I'm just curious, how do they weigh those nowadays?
Well, and a lot of that is you're looking scholarships, and the colleges are looking at that. So traditionally, in this particular part of the country, it would be the ACT.
Gotcha.
And I could quote you ACT scores in just about any colleges, give you a scholarship and a dollar amount with that. In the state, we use the SAT because of the resources that come with that. So once our kids take that SAT, then we get literally the feedback and the data that we get and the students can get that they can take and do different things with is huge that the ACT just doesn't have.
Gotcha.
Now our kids will still probably take most of our high school students, juniors and seniors will still take the ACT as well.
Gotcha.
But this one's free. So I mean they're all getting it and they're all taking it.
Well, that's what I was kind of curious. Is it now at a point where students really need to take both, or is it just depend on the schools they're looking at? I didn't know.
More than likely they're probably going to take both.
Gotcha. Okay. See, back in my time, there wasn't a thing
One
to
or the
take
other,
the ACT.
right.
It was the SAT, and that was the be-all, end-all, and now it's kind of different. So I was just curious.
Well, and
how that
ours
works.
was, unless you're going to go west or east, there's no reason for you to take the SAT.
Gotcha.
But there's some correlation there in the scores, that they can look at that. And it's neat whenever our students do, have their portfolios that go to the colleges and their applications, and it lists both of those scores.
Sure. Well, odds are probably pretty good. If you do well on one, you're probably going to be. I mean, it's kind of an anomaly to have a real low score in one and a real high score in the other, I'm thinking.
I would hope.
Yeah,
Good day, bad day. And again, the biggest one for me is that when they sit down at it, it's your name tied to it.
Sure.
And we would always encourage, regardless what you think of it or whether you want to be here or don't want to be here, your name's tied to it, and we'd like you to do your best.
Well, that's the idea.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, it's more ammo, more bullet statements for the resume, for your college applications, for your what they're looking at to determine whether you move on to your next goal here.
Yes, sir.
And so good. So they've been taking this morning, studying
Yes,
up
sir.
and getting their rest
Yes,
and
sir.
doing all that, learning those big words and finding out ways to use them, and sometimes they'll probably never use them again, unless they get a career in radio and they just crowbar them into things all the time.
Hopefully they'll use them. Hopefully they'll use them today.
The math side, I should have paid more attention. I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely, no. That line forms to the left. So.
Well, anyway, I know I got way sidetracked here. So testing this morning. As far as last night goes, let's talk about some of the issues and things.
Yes, love to. So we started off with a really, really cool thing. Alan Maraz of Roswell High School was selected as a Daniel Fund Scholarship winner.
Oh, okay.
And we're talking like six-figure,
that's a big deal.
$100,000, big money that's tied to that at any college that he wants to go to.
Amazing.
And his mom was there. What a neat testimony, to the family, to the school. Just a really neat individual.
Absolutely.
He got a chance to, we asked him if he wanted to say a few words, and he says no.
No. Do you know his plans, like what he wants to do after this?
Didn't share.
Okay. I imagine a person like that, the world's their oyster, and they can.
It is wide open to him.
Pick whatever direction it decides to go.
Yeah.
Go for it. That's great.
Start there, and then recognize Charlie's Angels, state dance champions, 21-22, 5A division. I think this is title number 14, 15 for Miss Castro.
That team is so good and talented. I'm unfortunate that we almost expect it now. Like it's like, are they going to win again? Of course they're going to win again because that's what they do. But, and so I hate it's so awesome and special, but they're so good at it. It's becoming like to us on the outside, it's almost like it's second nature now. They're the bar. They're the bar now.
It was funny. When we do recognitions, the kids will come by and they'll shake our hands or give us a fist bump or something like that. And I could tell her returning letterman. One of the young ladies had 4 look like satellite dishes on each finger. Their championship rings.
Oh, wow.
And it's funny because I have a class ring, and I usually will turn it around backwards so that I don't, if I do a
you don't want to
and
cause damage.
Well, I tell you what though, they walked right up, and I think I've got some indentions on some of my fingers, and I'm just grinning from ear to ear.
Well, if you look close, you could probably read dates and everything on those.
It was neat. It was super neat because it's just the look on their faces and
that's great.
And the amount of work that they put in, and then Mr. Cooper had a moment to recognize the rest. I mean, we had all of our cheer and dance teams went up there and showed very well.
Yeah,
everybody placed just a good. Good group in a again, back to normal and getting back to doing things that you're supposed to be doing.
Sure. Yeah, but congratulations to them again. And like you said, all our competitors, they all kicked butt this year. So
they did.
A good thing. Good for them.
Had some informational items that were pretty valuable. We had a presentation from some students at Mesa Middle School, program called AVID.
Okay.
And that's something that our community is going to hear quite a bit more about as we go forward. We've invested a lot in AVID, and I'll be honest. If whoever was sitting next to me, the AVID program, the AVID presentation that I saw a few years ago in San Antonio was probably the best training I've ever been to.
Interesting. Okay.
It makes sense, and it goes back to teaching some soft skills that turn into some concrete things for our kids. It gets them focused really early on being driven on a goal.
Okay. So is it kind of like setting the table for the next thing?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And when we get our kids to the what would be the culminating factor that senior year, there is a night and day difference between a kid that's been through that program and some that haven't. And
Interesting.
It's
just got unique ways of reaching the students.
I would say and I hate to go use the term old school, but it goes back to some old school methods that really just bring the kiddo back in.
So it's kind of like the mix of the tried and true versus the new, and it's a good marriage of that.
It is. And if you ever need to get some people through that, I would highly recommend any student group that has AVID attached to them.
It's almost like education value based, using modern technology and techniques to achieve that goal. Is that a pretty good description?
Well, and it goes back to some note taking and some study skills and again some things that I don't want to necessarily that we've missed along the way, but we've kind of lost track of them.
Sure. And technology's probably changed the need for some of that. Like cursive is one of these things. It's like we all agree we need to know it, but we live in a world where people are doing less and less of it now. But does that mean that they should? Because I think it's a foundation thing. I think it's one of those things. If you can do this, then you can understand the next levels of what's going on. And so, you need to know and understand it, be proficient in it, but at the same time, it doesn't carry the weight that it did when we were kids going through. It just doesn't, because it's not in demand as much. But still needed. Is that kind of where you're going with some of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's learning is never a bad thing, and expanding and going through the process is never a bad thing. But again, they get up and these kids when they come and they present before the board, it's detail oriented. There's a plan. There's a purpose. Like I said, down the road, I would love to get a group in here to visit with you about that.
So is this something you want to implement? How across all levels?
It's already going. So we've got it in. I think we've got all 4 mid schools up and running on it now.
Okay.
We're actually looking to bring it down into some grade schools. So
good.
The 2 big high schools have it. So like I said, it's definitely something that to get a little bit more information about for you guys.
Well, and something, I don't know if you want to call this feedback or whatever, but my wife, second grade teacher, of course, the elementary, they're starting, they're actually in the middle of, some have already started, some are just starting it, some will be starting it soon here. The new reading program that was implemented. And my wife was one of the early ones, so she's been in it a little bit longer than some others. And I'm telling you, from her perspective, and my wife's been a teacher for 25 years, so she does have some experience here. She's not new. She says that she's really digging it. She said at first it's a little overwhelming and intimidating. And it's new. So there's a lot of learning curve there. But once that's in place, it works very well. It's kind of it's very good. It's very there's a lot there, and that's a lot to do, but it breaks it down. And it's just once you get in the groove of it, then I think it's gangbusters. But the more she's doing it, the more she's liking it, which is a good sign. That's what you want. Is
absolutely
the more they look at it, now they see the value in it. So from her 2 cents, from what she's saying, she's happy with how that's going. So I know that's different, but it's kind of in the same vein here.
No, and it actually, I tell you, it's almost like you're reading my agenda here. There's a. We're going to go to a segue here where, the next presentation was graduation rates.
Awesome.
And, we want to be transparent. The state releases those rates the other day, and for whatever reason, it has taken them a long time to get them out. And, we realize we've got some work to do. And I mean, I'll own that in front of anybody as far as where we rate as far with the state goes. And then, but tying together a systems approach, to start from the ground up, with our CTE and even our, you mentioned, and I don't know, the wife teaches second grade, but I mean, a solid foundational program to get our kids ready to move from elementary to mid school to high school,
period.
And then hopefully grab them into things and programs and pathways at the high school level that will continue to keep them in the building, because the way they pick our graduation rates, or the way they calculate them right now, it's pretty interesting. It isn't the years of yesterday where you start with, you have 27 or 300 seniors at the start of your senior year, and if they don't all make it, then that's what you calculate it from. You calculate it from the time that they're freshmen, and their clock starts ticking on that day. And if they leave your school and they go somewhere else in New Mexico, part of their time with you goes towards their graduation rate.
Okay, so it follows you wherever they go.
There's 16 snapshots in a student's lifetime at the high school level, and when they get to snapshot 16, if they're not finished, that counts against somebody or a bunch of somebodies, whether that's if it's 2 years in Roswell and 2 years in Artesia, and they don't make it,
wherever that child classroom's set.
And I don't know. Again, I don't know how that particular thing calculates, but half of their making it or half of them not making it does go against the school.
Gotcha.
So, our high schools we've been working on this, and then if we can't find them, when we lose them and they drop out, that's just a straight full count against.
Sure.
And that's something that we're really trying to prevent.
Just out of curiosity, those numbers, were they, with the last 3 years of COVID, were they drastically, was there a fluctuation one way or the other in those numbers? Pretty great. Just kind of curious what that percentage or what that ballpark looked like. Is it a major difference? Is it slight?
It could be anywhere from 3 to 5% negative. I mean, and the irony to it is I mean, I'll just be blunt. Those were probably some of the easier years to graduate if we could keep you hooked in and keep your credits current.
Because you had to basically lower the standards and I don't know if that's not a right word. You basically had to cut a lot of details to make sure that they can execute the curriculum.
Not being in person did take away a lot of the accountability that would have happened had they been there. And they were able to the flexibility that was provided to the teachers did give the kids the chance to do. I'm working. I'm a full-time. I'm working for the family here. Whatever it was that they were doing, and it, like I said, it wasn't the best situation. And again, not trying to hide something. I mean, we've got work to do, and I think we're already headed in the right direction as fixing it.
Well, that's just it. You can't just pretend it's not there and talk about everything's good and not expect it to fix itself. It just isn't. So, and at the end of the day. We've said this 1,000 times. We are all charged with making sure these kids have availability to education and things like that. And so when there is a problem, we all must fix it. And so that's just it. Now you guys have to roll up your sleeves and sit there and say, all right, how do we get these numbers up? What do we got to do?
Right.
And that's what you're doing. And trying to attack that.
We have got. And then I've said this multiple times. I know people get tired of hearing it, but our timing is right. I've got the right people in place.
Yeah.
The business community, I mean, our economic development, Mike Espiritu, and the group that we're working with him and Mr. Kunkel, and I mean, it is.
Like all the ingredients are there. We just got to mix the recipe.
And it's like, the oven's warmed up and everything's fixing to start taking place.
Good.
The other big thing, and I wanted to make mention of this before we ran out of time.
Yeah.
We did approve our calendar for next year.
All right.
So may or may not know, that we had a 3-year approved calendar that when Mr. Gottlieb came in, and we got a 3-year calendar approved. The state came in basically January, and there was, we were rumors, are we going to mandate 10 extra days or 20 extra days? And then they came out and they said, we're not mandating anything.
Okay.
However, and I was like, oh, Lord. However,
but
so,
there comes the but.
So, when you look at your graduation rate, when you look at your proficiency rates, when you look at things, we're not immune to that. And we know that we needed to put in some additional time. So what I did was I went back to the calendar that was posted online, and I added 10 instructional days for the kids.
Okay.
And in doing so, we actually added a few more days for the staff as well.
Good.
The key takeaways from this one is we do not start any sooner student-wise than we were already starting.
Gotcha.
So,
I think that's the big concern for most people. It's like, how big of a window is it going to eat into their breaks and things? And it looks like it's not going to. You guys finagled the schedule where it doesn't impact that very much.
Tell you what, we were pretty blessed with what was on paper in front of me. The ending date for next year was supposed to be, the last day for students was going to be May 18th.
Okay.
Which would have had us out a full week before Memorial Day. I was able to grab the next week, which gets us out Memorial Day, which is, I don't want to say traditionally because it's not an every year thing, but that's when we're getting out this year.
Sure, okay.
And so it gets us back to early August, end of May, and then other than that, we didn't touch the full week at Thanksgiving, we didn't touch the 2 weeks at Christmas break, we didn't touch our spring break. And we were able to pull off a couple professional development days.
Okay.
And instead of them being full days, we're actually going to do half days where the students will come, majority plus one of the day so that we can count that as an instructional day.
Okay.
And then train our teachers on the afternoon. We have 2 of those on there. But really excited about this.
Okay.
We were able, not every district has been able to do this.
I think I just saw on the news the other day that Albuquerque added their 10 days to
They tried.
Oh, they tried. Yeah.
They tried.
Yeah.
There's some other districts that are doing they're going innovative.
Yeah.
And they went all in. I know Las Cruces has got a schedule approved that is kind of like a on 4 off 2 sort of a deal, but they start mid-July, and I don't know that I had that support here.
I can understand people, getting a little upset. They want us to go, but this is what I'll say to you. And I don't have kids, so I don't know. Maybe my opinion don't matter. But we've spent the last 3 years, and these kids are way behind the 8 ball. I don't care. Even, there's going to be 1 or 2 that but as a collective,
yes, sir,
these kids are behind where they should be at their education levels. We need to be doing everything we can to make up, play catch up for that. And the schools can only do so much, and this is what they can do. I got to be honest. The rest is going to be on you, the parents. You got to get your kids involved. Get them, especially the younger ones. Go get them in Boys and Girls Club and Camp Invention and all these things we got going on in town for these kids. All of it's important, and I think that adding these days, this is at least something that we can do. And I know there's people, and that's the thing. There's probably more that we should be doing, but obviously parents are going to buck a certain way and things like that. So, but be honest, we needed this. This is my opinion. I know some people won't agree, and they're like, we don't even have kids. Why do you care? But our kids lost a lot in 3 years, and we've got to fix it. And this is how you fix it.
Well, I think the biggest thing for us as a district is to recognize, one, that there is a problem, which I don't think anybody would even come close to arguing with that. And then it comes back to, okay, what is the solutions, and or how can we work to fix? And I'm going to give credit to, Dr. Steinhaus, who's our new Secretary of Education in the state. He is preaching flexibility, and he is preaching, local districts, what is your problem and how can you come up with a solution to fix it? He has granted several districts around the state, the flexibility to do what they need to do. And there's some programs that are out there that do provide that. We went with what we've done in the past.
And to be honest, this is what you guys were asking for in the beginning. You know, when we
It
talk
is.
about, it's like, let our districts run our
That's
districts, and they said, okay, here you go, and so you get to do that.
Well,
It's
and
good.
that's why I did. I didn't want to let today get away without giving the credit where the credit is due, because there was the legislators, and this is a huge shout out to the legislators as well. They didn't have to do this. They could have walked in the door and said, you will do this and you will do
mandate
that.
everything,
and it was again. The responsible thing to do is to step back and go, you know what, we need to do something. I shouldn't just do something because somebody told me I had to do it. We need to take a look at what we can do to help.
Because we recognize the need that there is a need.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Now it does. Again, we went with, and I don't want to say the safe route, but some of the other programs that are being funded right now, there's a lot of districts that are fixing to run to those, and that's fine. But we chose a route that we knew, we know how to play this game as far as what's required of us, and feel really comfortable with what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So
good. Well, I'm glad. And I'm hopefully that there's just not too much pushback here. But to be honest, it doesn't. It almost looks like you guys went the most bang with the least amount of resistance or change is possible here.
Well, on the whole credit bandwagon thing, our teachers. I asked principals to bring me 2 teachers to come to a meeting where I went through the calendar and I went through the changes. So this is a credit to my unions as well. They stepped in and said, you know what, we like what you're doing, and we appreciate the input. And we, ran them back and forth, and we kind of tweaked a couple of days at the first to make it work for everybody.
Sure.
And, boy, it was really, really nice sitting at the state budget meeting last week and watching some superintendents just tear off a piece of paper and they'd scribble something down and they'd slide it across, and you could tell that was maybe a union representative, and they'd throw it away and they'd start again, and we don't have that here, and it is super nice to have that relationship,
and that's going to make it so much better for everyone, the students, the staff, faculty, because let's face it, we have. When you look at the RSD or look at any school district, you have the most on hand, generally, the most educated people in the community are hanging out right there. And you know what I mean? Like the people they're educated, they're smart people. Let's pick those brains a little bit. And that sounds like what you got when you do this calendar stuff. It's like, all right, let's get input from the teachers, input from our administrators, input from, board, parents, everyone, and see what their input is and try to come up with a schedule that meets all of those needs as much as possible while still getting the mission done. And I hate to say it, but when you do it that way, you find out you have less problems, less people complaining, less people. And I imagine this is what you guys are finding out. It's like, hey, when we do sometimes people just want their opinion heard. It's not necessarily, and if you consider that, at least when you go, then people understand. It's like, okay, you at least took my point of view into consideration when you did this. So I think that's what you're seeing the result of, is some of that cooperation. Because people are like, look, we're just as invested as you are. Yeah. We want our input.
Well, and as funny as it sounds, traditionally, and I will say that every year that we've come back in January, the very first day has always been a professional development day. Mm-hmm. And last year that day was removed because, again, we were trying to get our 10 without really disrupting start-finish dates.
Yeah.
But the teachers, and rightfully so, they're like, man, it just seemed off.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that I emphasized with them, was that day is a professional development day.
Sure.
We will not just, that's the way our Christmas lands this year. We're front loaded. It's a week, then Christmas Day, and then a week. And I'm not a fan of that one, just because I like the time after.
Yeah,
that's me personally.
Yeah. But some people like to get to their destinations earlier.
I got you.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna tell you, coming back on January 2nd, I mean that's a haul for the month of January.
Yeah.
And getting that day to kind of get everybody back and going,
Mm-hmm.
And even if the kids don't go to school on the 2nd. It's hey, teachers are going back, and it like I said, it's the ebb and flow of the community, and it really does. It holds everything together.
Sure. But I think also the teachers like going in that day or two before.
Sure.
Because it's for them too. It gets them ease into their work schedule as opposed to running into the fire right away. You know, you get to kind of come in.
Absolutely.
And, okay, it's not kids' day, so my schedule isn't as stringent. I can have a cup of coffee before I sit down and do something.
Well, I left. I'll be honest. As a teacher, I left this when I left. You know, the day before Christmas. So when I went on break, I walked out and that was sitting there. And now I can fix it. I can do whatever I need to do with it.
And it really gives them that opportunity to do those things. So good deal. I just saw we're close on time here. Is there any other major stuff we wanted to?
No, the only other thing that I would like to say is again, and this I keep reiterating this, is thank you to the parents.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we always preach return to normal, but there's not been anything normal about this year.
Yeah.
And I cannot say thank you enough to and you know all of the staff of the district, but my parents get overlooked a ton.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and again, our days being smoother. That wouldn't happen without the parent support.
Yeah.
And them, you know, getting their kids ready and working to work through problems. And I just want to make sure that they know they are appreciated.
Well, and I think that's the thing we got to remind all of ourselves. And looks like our parents, everybody, that's the message they're getting. It is at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We all want these kids to be successful. We want these kids to have the best education. We would love it when an entity outside the world says that kid graduated from Roswell, probably got a pretty sharp kid there.
Well, that'd be nice.
You know, that's and we want that. We want where these kids, when they graduate, when they get their high school diploma, the world is their oyster. Wherever they want to go, there is not a barrier to stop them, and we all want that. So we all may not agree on how to get there, but we all want that. And when passions get heated, when tempers, let's remember that. Remember, say, you know what? We're all here because we care about these kids. We all want the best for it. Let's all work from that angle as opposed to our own personal feelings, our own egos getting in the way. Sorry, I got a soapbox a little bit. Well, thank you, Brian, as always.
Absolutely, thank you.
Appreciate the visit. And anything else, if we need to get you in earlier or whatever outside of our normal schedule, because some cool stuff are happening, whatever you want to get the world on about it, let me know. We'll do that.
Likewise.
All right, it is 8:55. Let's take a quick break before news. Don't go away.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. We begin with a developing story out of Lincoln County, where the county has declared an emergency because of a wildfire. Tuesday, the McBride fire reportedly has grown to about 3,200 acres, according to InsaWeb. Evacuation orders were in place for Ruidoso north of the high school, including Gavilan Canyon Road, Homestead Loop, Eagle Creek, Blue Lake Drive, Miramonte Road, and east of Fort Stanton Road. A Red Cross shelter was set up at Ruidoso Convention Center. And we're learning that the U.S. government's nuclear waste repository was evacuated last weekend after workers handling a shipping container discovered a small amount of radioactive liquid inside it. There's no indication of airborne contamination. Testing of workers' hands and feet showed no contamination after the discovery was made late Saturday in a bay where the containers are processed before being taken underground for disposal. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunshine and gusty today. It will be a little cooler with our afternoon high in the low to mid 70s. That wind kicking up between 30 and 40 miles per hour. Watch out for a little bit of blowing dust. Mid 30s and clear for the overnight hours, and then the wind eases off a little bit on Thursday. Still breezy. Sunshine and our high in the low 80s. We're in the upper 80s by Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Inflation soared over the past year at its fastest pace in more than 40 years, with the cost for food, gasoline, housing, and other necessities squeezing American consumers and wiping out the pay raises that many people have received. The Labor Department said Tuesday that its Consumer Price Index jumped 8.5% in March from 12 months earlier, the sharpest year-over-year increase since 1981. Prices have been driven up by bottlenecked supply chains, robust consumer demand, and disruptions to global food and energy markets worsened by Russia's war against Ukraine. President Biden said Tuesday his administration will suspend a federal rule that bars higher levels of ethanol in gasoline during the summer. The move, which Biden announced during a visit to Iowa, is intended to help lower the prices at the pump that have spiked during Russia's war with Ukraine. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Join Church on the Move Good Friday, April 15th from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. for an outdoor fun-filled family night with a free Easter egg hunt for kids ages 12 and under. Every age group that participates in the egg hunt will have a chance to win prizes, including Nintendo Switches and lots of free candy. Plus, Church on the Move will have a free feeding and petting zoo with over 40 animals, including zebras, llamas, yaks, and kangaroos. Free mechanical bull, surfboard, blow-up games, and free paintballing for the teenagers. We'll also have our local food trucks on hand with all of your favorite food. Come and join in on this fun-filled family night on Good Friday at Church on the Move, 901 West Brasher in Roswell, starting at 5:30 p.m.
Coming to the Liberty, Thursday, April 21st. Don't miss an evening with Reckless Kelly.
Ragged as the road I'm on.
With special guest, Hooks and the Huckleberries. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 7:30. Tickets are on sale now. Get yours before they're gone.
Now I'm double fisting long, mixing grapefruit and slowly, but I'm never getting over Jody.
For information on how you can become a bona fide member, visit thelibertyinc.com. Don't miss an evening with Reckless Kelly, Thursday, April 21st at the Liberty.
The National Education Association of New Mexico, a union of teachers and school staff, believes every child deserves to learn at a school that inspires their imagination, cultivates their curiosity, and ensures a fulfilling life. Public schools should provide all our students with small class sizes and one-on-one attention. NEA New Mexico asks you to join us so together we can end the teacher and staff shortage and invest in our public education system once and for all. Sponsored by NEA New Mexico.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. It's considered good luck in Japan when a sumo wrestler makes your baby cry. But who gets the good luck? The sumo wrestler or the baby? Here's Mike Winters.
And we're closing in on 10 o'clock. Stay tuned. Next hour, we're going to replay our interview with Drew Garnett with the Chaves County Extension Office, talking about their ranchers and farmers workshop they're having here on, I believe, on the 26th. That's coming up next hour. We'll be back on the other side of news. Also, I got that pick. I'm going to share it with everybody here next hour as well. You listen to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Frank James, no longer a person of interest in the New York subway shootings. Now the 62-year-old is a suspect. The change based on new information uncovered by investigators. The manhunt for James continues. NYPD Chief of Detectives James Essig says authorities have pictures of James and they have a lot of evidence to work with.
We had 33 discharged shell casings, 15 bullets, 5 bullet fragments, 2 detonated smoke grenades, 2 non-detonated smoke grenades, a hatchet, a black garbage can, a black milk type style rolling cart, the gasoline, and a U-Haul key.
That key is to a rental van recovered by police. 10 people were shot, 19 others wounded as well, but no life-threatening injuries. Police say James is the man behind a series of threatening online rants, some of those aimed at New York Mayor Eric Adams. Amid mounting evidence of Russian atrocities in Ukraine, President Biden now accusing Vladimir Putin of genocide.
Last week, the president described Russian troops' atrocities as war crimes, but stopped short of calling their actions genocide. This week, though, he's using that term.
We'll let the lawyers decide internationally whether or not it qualifies, but it sure seems that way to me.
Mr. Biden says there's mounting evidence that Russia's actions amount to genocide, and he accuses Vladimir Putin of trying to wipe out the idea of even being a Ukrainian. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The Labor Department reports that wholesale prices surged a record 11.2% last month from 1 year earlier. On Wall Street, stocks higher this hour. Right now, the Dow is up 92 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index ahead 126 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I'm about to compare a pepper shaker to a cash-out refinance. Hang with me. You know when you're at a restaurant and they ask, would you like some fresh ground pepper? And then they crank that giant tube, but almost nothing comes out? For me, only a certain amount of time is socially acceptable to wait. I know that getting that pepper out might make my life better, but it just seems too impossible. And that's what we hear people say about the cash-out refinance. People realize that the value of their home has gone up like hot pepper the last few years, leaving all this extra money sitting inside their home. But is it too hard to get out? It's Ryan from United Faith Mortgage. If you're interested in cashing out the extra pepper in your home, we're good at doing all the work while you just sit back and relax. And often, your mortgage payment and years in the loan will stay the same. If you'd like to hear about your options,
we are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
Looks like New York Governor Kathy Hochul is in the market for a new lieutenant.
New York Democratic Lieutenant Governor Brian Benjamin resigned after being arrested and indicted on charges in connection with his alleged participation in a scheme to obtain campaign contributions in exchange for securing a state grant. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says she accepted Brian Benjamin's resignation effective immediately. Benjamin finished fourth in the 2021 Democratic primary for New York City Comptroller, a campaign in which prosecutors now say he sought and received illegal contributions. Benjamin is also accused of lying on a background check that followed Hochul's decision to make him her top deputy. Bernie Bennett reporting.
Group of leading economic think tanks slashing its forecast for growth in Germany this year, predicting that Europe's largest economy will expand by 2.7% as Russia's war in Ukraine weighs on its prospects. The think tanks forecast an even worse performance if Russian gas supplies are suddenly cut off. Breaking news and analysis, townhall.com. The Southwest Airlines Pilots Union says fatigue becoming a serious safety issue.
Union leaders say poor scheduling practices led to a 330% jump last month in the number of pilots asking to be relieved of flight assignments because of fatigue. The Southwest Airlines Pilots Association, which is in contract negotiations, claims the fatigue is at record levels and is the airline's number one safety threat. In an open letter to Southwest Airlines CEO Robert Jordan and other executives, the union leaders wrote that the problem started last summer as passenger numbers returned to near pre-pandemic levels. There was no immediate response by Southwest. Unions across the airline industry have been calling on the companies to hire more pilots. I'm Tim McGuire.
The number of new coronavirus cases and deaths reported to the World Health Organization has fallen for the third week in a row. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. Leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Javelin, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3. Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Yes.
So I got a picture sent to me last hour, and this picture came from one of the firefighters there at the fire there in Redoso. And so I got it to Tanner, and it's one of those pics. Go ahead and share it if you can there, Tanner. I can't tell if you're not or not.
Oh, wow.
There it goes. It's up.
Yeah.
You can't see it. But, yeah, that picture, for those watching our video feed, it's up right now. Yeah, that was a pic that it was taken from a firefighter there at the fire. And it's pretty scary looking. I mean, the glowing embers.
Right.
And you see all this light. It's a sunrise or sunset pic. I don't know, it's a night. Maybe it's not sunrise. It's just the glow from the fire. But it's oddly beautiful, the picture. but when you know what it is, it's like, wow, but if you just saw the picture like in National Geographic
like a
or
Getty
something.
Images thing.
You're like, wow, that's pretty. But it's...
Well, and that's something to be, I mean, even in, terrible situations, you can find, there's an element of like art or like, and I don't want to say beauty, but like, picturesqueness, I guess. There was, and this was a while back, they did there was a series of pictures where they showed, there were slider pictures. I think it was like Google or some website did this, where it was like you'd slide to one side and it would show one place, and then like 10 years later, like the difference in how it's changed.
I've
or whatever.
seen some of those, yeah.
And a lot of those just the stark contrast of like a place that's been completely deforested. It's like that's horrible. It's tragic, but it's kind of beautiful in the just seeing the progression.
Sure, seeing how life is altered that area. I got a story.
Oh.
Sort of related to this. Sort of, but different.
All right.
I'm a Civil War buff and things, and so when I've been to quite a few battlefields to tour and things like that,
right.
and so when I was in the Boy Scouts, we go and hike a lot of these battlefields and things. But one of the places we went to was the Battle of Antietam, the Antietam battlefield. Sharpsburg, depending on how you perceive the war. But anyway, Battle of Antietam, which is is known as the single bloodiest day of the Civil War. It was a one-day battle. It was more bloodshed was spilled on that day than any other day in the Civil War. And I know Gettysburg is probably the biggest casualty battle, but that was a 3-day battle.
Right.
All their stuff happened in one day. So anyway, the way the battle went down was like and I'm telling you this because it does actually apply to the story. I know you're like, I don't want a history lesson, but the way the battle went down is it kind of went in 3 waves. The morning wave was at one part of the battlefield. By midday, they were at another part, and then later in the afternoon, the battle wrapped up, and the main fighting took place at what's now known as called Burnside Bridge. And it was this bridge that the Union was defending, and the battle ended up as a stalemate. It was the one where the Union should have won it, but Lee found their plans and rolled up in some cigars, and so he was able to thwart their plans, and it ended up a stalemate battle. But anyway, so that day, Burnside Bridge, and they're sitting there, that's where some intense fighting was and everything else. So I'm there touring it and looking at that Burnside Bridge area, and then of course they have a big placard with a picture that took place like right after the battle, where you see the bodies, you still see the carnage of the battle still there. And so you're looking at that picture, but you're looking at the picture, and then you look up and you're seeing the area, the land. And so one of the things I noticed was in the picture, there's the bridge, and next to the bridge is this sapling tree that somehow didn't get destroyed in the battle. And then you look up at the picture and you see this giant oak tree sitting right where that sapling was.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, that I don't know, it just put everything into perspective for me when I'm sitting there looking at this picture, looking at this, and then I look up and see this oak tree.
That's the real progression of time. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, and so that always has stuck with me, that moment when I kind of put 2 and 2 together.
It's one of those things too, and I've had it happen a couple of times where like I go back to Medill, Oklahoma, which is the town I grew up in, and I'll see like spots where like we did for like Arbor Day or whatever, we would set up trees for school, or we had done some stuff on my grandma at what was my grandma's house at the time, and you go back and you see those little trees are now normal sized, like not huge trees, but normal sized trees, and it's like it kind of blows your mind. I think that's the progression of time. It's like in a much smaller sense, when you don't see someone's kids for 6 months, you see the difference.
Sure.
But I don't see it because I'm with my kids every day.
Or it's like your spouse or something. Like my wife and I, this happens, people hadn't seen us for a while, and they look at us and they'll say, "Oh, you lost weight." And then your wife looked at, "Have I lost?" I was like, "I'll be honest, I see every day. You look the same to me." But,
Wish I'd have seen it so I could have thrown the compliment out first.
But you know what I mean? When you're around someone every day, you don't notice the change as much as, like you said, someone you ain't seen in a while, and then you see him like, "Oh, wow, you look like half of you," or whatever it is.
Next thing you know, it's just driving around going, "That used to be a Tasty Freeze, kids."
Of course, usually most people say, "Man, you look a lot fatter than the last time I saw you." They generally usually keep that to themselves.
Comfortable.
Yeah, they use terms like comfortable. You look relaxed. Shut up.
Right. You look cozy.
I clean myself. Stop.
That's basically. You look like you washed yourself with a rag on a stick.
It's the bless your heart of.
Well, bless your. I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray for you so hard. You're hateful.
Yeah, a lot of line reading between the lines situations going on there. But anyway, here's what we have on tap for this hour of the show.
Bless your heart hit me on a different level. That's like every family reunion.
Yeah, you hear it a lot. Bless his heart. Oh man,
He's trying so hard. Bless his heart.
Bless his heart. Man, I'm in trouble. All right, we're going to get you up to date with the weather here in just a few minutes. And about 5 or 6 minutes or so here, we're going to play our interview we had yesterday. We had Drew Garnett. He's the ag agent with the Chaves County Extension Office. He joined us and chit-chatted about a farmers and ranchers workshop that they've got coming up here on April, I believe it's the 26th. And so we talk all about that, what they're going to be discussing. We talk a little ag with him as well. Had a great conversation. So we'll play our interview with Drew here in just a few. Later on this hour, we'll get you up to date with the news of the local variety along with your Sean Hannity update and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. Before we do anything else, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunshine and gusty today. It will be a little cooler with our afternoon high in the low to mid 70s. That wind kicking up between 30 and 40 miles per hour. Watch out for a little bit of blowing dust. Mid 30s and clear for the overnight hours, and then the wind eases off a little bit on Thursday. Still breezy. Sunshine and our high in the low 80s. We're in the upper 80s by Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, where'd my weather go? There it is. Currently, that's not fresh either. I'm sorry. I was looking at the fire update, which I do have for you. I'll get that here in just a second. Currently 56 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity still just 7%. Ugh, don't like hearing that, especially with all the fires going around. Winds currently out of the northwest at 26, gusting to 41. We do have the red flag warning in effect through 8 p.m. this evening. Is that the update on the fire? Yeah, I just saw it too. Let me finish this. We'll do it. Sunny, 71 for a high today. Winds will remain breezy out of the northwest, 20 to 25 miles per hour. Could see wind gusts as high as 35. Tonight, mostly clear with an overnight low of 35. Northwest winds 15 to 20, dropping down 5 to 10 after midnight. Thursday, sunny with a high near 80. Northwest winds 5 to 15. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, overnight low of 44. Winds will be out of the south, 10 to 15, dropping down 5 to 10 after midnight. Friday, sunny, highs near 88. South winds 5 to 10 early. Later in the day, shifting to the southwest, picking up 10 to 15. Not so bad after what we've been through. And then weekend, warming up. Mostly sunny, 88 Saturday, mostly sunny, 88 on Sunday as well. So, yeah, here at 9 o'clock, they just gave an update. You got it handy there? Do you want
the way they have it?
It's a big letter.
It's really hard to read because it's not formatted very properly here.
I kind of zoomed it a little bit here. What I'm looking at is size right now is 4,132 acres, 0% containment. Let's see. On Tuesday, the McBride broke out. I'm trying to do.
I got it formatted properly. Okay.
Okay.
A number of structures were lost in the area: McBride, Gavilan Canyon, Fawn Ridge, Homestead Acres, and Lower Eagle Creek. Crews are working on multiple fronts of point protection and secure structures. Crews in the Moon Mountain area were able to hold the ridge south of Gavilan and north of Paradise Canyon with a dozer line to keep it from progressing into Paradise Canyon and meander. In the area of Homestead, Gavilan Canyon, and Fawn Ridge, crews are working point protection and securing structures, working to connect and construct fire line to control fire progress. Mandatory evacuations are in place for the area around Moon Mountain, McBride, Snowcap, Timberline, Eagle Creek, Homestead Acres, Rancho Ruidoso Valley Estates, Deer Valley, Deer Park, and Alto east of Flute Player. If you live in those areas, please evacuate to the Ruidoso Convention Center. More evacuations are possible.
Good deal. And then also here is they're predicting the weather for today, which not all of it very helpless. Temps today will be around 54 degrees. Parts that are making me nervous, 6% relative humidity.
That's dry.
Very dry. Winds will continue north-northwest at around 20, gusting to 30, which is much better than yesterday, but still going to be pushing that fire. And they think it's going to be pushing northeast. That's what they're predicting the direction of the fire to go today. Lows tonight in the 30s with 16% relative humidity, which is not much better.
Right.
Again, hopefully the winds die down enough where they can get some kind of containment on this thing. And but the conditions aren't still ideal yet to let them get ahead of it. So.
Yeah, and Ruidoso is basically a tinderbox. I mean, with 6% humidity, that ain't great.
Yeah, so that's the latest update. Again, check throughout the day and keep if you want to. My recommendation to you is if you go again to McBride Fire 2022 on Facebook. That is a update page that's put together by some public information officers that are on the scene there. That their whole job is to keep the public up to date on the fire. So they're going through that. The conduit is that Facebook page, and that's been the most up to date thing that we found so far. So.
Right, and I'm not sure if this applies to anybody that needs to know this doesn't already know, but the Ruidoso schools are obviously canceled.
Yeah, they were closed today. So I kind of
put that together.
Yeah, I kind of. I just assumed. All right, but that's the update there. It is 19 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're going to take a 3-minute commercial break, and then we're going to play our interview with Drew from the Chaves County Extension Office. That's on the other side. Don't go away. We'll be back.
Roll in and win during the Moneyopoly sales event at Roswell Nissan for 6 big days. Now through the 16th, get game-changing savings on a great selection of vehicles, like a 2017 Chevy Malibu for just $279 a month, a 2018 Escape for only $249 a month, or a 2015 Rogue for just $149 a month. Play the Plinko Cash Grab for your shot at cold hard cash and register to win a brand new swimming pool. Plus, bring your mailer in for a chance to win $50,000. Moneyopoly on now at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
When it comes to the security of your home or business, you want a local company, one that has a personal investment right here in Southeast New Mexico. Zenith Security Services is your local Honeywell dealer. Zenith can handle all of your business and residential alarms, cameras, and IT services, as well as home theater installations, all from a local company. The Spring Starter Package is now available at Zenith Security Services for your home or business. Call the real Zenith Security Services today, 575-626-3521. Zenith Security Services, protection with a local touch.
At LeGrand Funeral Chapel, we believe that every funeral should be a reflection of the life it honors. The joys, the triumphs, the faith, the family, and so much more. For us, no detail is too small, no request too big. This is Rosa Aguilar. When the time comes to choose a funeral home, we hope you'll let us serve your family. At LeGrand Funeral Chapel and Crematory, we make it personal.
Coming to the Liberty, Thursday, April 21st. Don't miss an evening with Reckless Kelly.
Ragged as the road I'm on.
With special guest, Hooks and the Huckleberries. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 7:30. Tickets are on sale now. Get yours before they're gone.
Now I'm double fisting long, mixing grapefruit and story, but I'm never getting over Jody.
For information on how you can become a bona fide member, visit thelibertyinc.com. Don't miss an evening with Reckless Kelly, Thursday, April 21st at the Liberty.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard. Aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The average person spends only 10 minutes a day speaking. Many wish Mike Winters was more like the average person. Here's Mike Winters.
Good morning. It is 18 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Chaves County Extension Office, Drew Garnett back with us. Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
Good to have you back. And, of course, for folks that aren't familiar, Drew's the ag agent there. Actually took over, about 4 or 5 months ago, maybe?
Yeah, right at the beginning of December, right at the end of November.
Yeah. So it's kind of, I knew if it was beginning of this year or into last, I couldn't remember.
Yeah, so it's been good.
So how's that been now that, now you've been in the chair for a few months here? How's the position been for you?
Settling in, getting my feet under me a little bit better. Every agent I've talked to, I think they said you'll be running around like a chicken with your head cut off for about 3 years.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can cut that down to 1, but we'll find out.
Well, and that's this thing is that position is really kind of the resident wisdom expert for ag stuff. I know from some of the people that have served in this position before, like Sandra Braza was for a long time, and she's literally an encyclopedia of stuff like that. So by default, everyone after is almost kind of, hey, are these nuts good? I mean, you almost have to be on the fly, like, let's, you're kind of that person around town here to be that. And so people look to you to get answers when it comes to ag industry stuff.
Very much so. And of course, when you follow people like Sandra Braza, you definitely have big shoes to fill.
That's true. But it sounds like you're doing a pretty good job.
I'm working on it.
But absolutely. So you kind of, and since COVID's hit and it's really hampered on the ability for that position to do the training and do some of the things that are part of what you do, now you kind of now that you take over and we're starting to open back up, you kind of got hit with, here's the landslide of stuff, right, that's been ready and waiting for you as soon as you sit down. So.
Yes, and obviously everybody's ready to get off Zoom and quit doing all these Zoom meetings and meet in person. And we have a great opportunity available for them right now.
Yes.
Actually coming up.
April 26th, coming up is the Southeast New Mexico Ranchers Workshop. Now, I can kind of sort of guess what it's about from that title, but I'm sure there's much more to it than just a bunch of ranchers getting together and hanging out.
It is, which is always a good time anyway.
Exactly.
When we get
Not saying
together
that's a bad thing, but it's more than that.
It is, and so we're offering a lot of great information to help our community, help our producers here in the Pecos Valley, and actually it's a joint combination of Roosevelt, Eddy, Lee, and Chaves County. So it's not just one county that's working on this project.
Sure.
Now, we are the lucky ones that get to host it this year.
Well, and let's face it, we Chaves County is Roswell particularly is kind of a mecca for southeast New Mexico in anything. Shopping, I mean, people come from, but especially in our surrounding rural counties, like you say, Grant, these other counties, which, let's face it, those are ag counties. Those are counties that they have low populations, not a lot of cities and towns, but they got a lot of agriculture.
We have a ton of ag.
So guess where they go when they need to get to town to get stuff? It's right here. So so that makes sense that this is really not just for Chaves County. It's for really Lee, Eddy, Hidalgo, all these surrounding areas.
Yes, and and that's one of the great things about the Extension Service too, is a lot of times we have different programs throughout the state at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm not offering particular CEUs at this given time, but you need your CEUs coming up, Otero has CEU for your pesticide applicator's license going on the 19th, I believe.
Okay.
So that'll be in Alamogordo.
So you can swing over there.
So you can swing over there if you have time. Obviously, we're hoping to have CEUs here. And in fact, with this Ranchers Workshop, we're trying to cover as much ground as we can.
Gotcha.
So we're going to start off the program with Beef Quality Assurance, which is a program that is designed for cattle health for ranchers and to give them better information about vaccines and things like that.
Gotcha.
We're actually going to have Dr. Wenzel, who will be here. He heads up that program for the state of New Mexico.
And is it some of it where it's even talking about, better, more modern methods of doing some of this stuff?
Because that's a lot of it's modern methods, new chemistries, or even new rules and regulations that are coming out constantly.
And the reason
a lot of this stuff, it becomes very political on some level. And so a lot of this beef quality assurance program is geared towards helping ranchers stay afloat in this political climate that we've kind of developed.
Yeah, I mean, you can have your thoughts or ideas on what you think of said regulation or whatever it is, but regardless, you have to be knowledgeable on it and you have to abide by it, because if you don't, then there's going to be consequences for that. So that's just how the game is played. But I would even say this benefits for because I know you got probably ranchers, generational ranchers, folks that this is my business and they know everything. And so they might look at this as, ain't nothing they're going to teach me at this. And I'm going to say, you know what? Yeah, in a sense, but I think in another way they're going to show you that, in the last 30, 40 years, there's been a lot of advances in the science of agriculture here, and some of it's good stuff, and we can show that to you.
And definitely, and I think ranchers and farmers here, and just our producers here in Chaves County are extremely knowledgeable. They're staying on top of the information that's out there, and all we're doing is we're trying to provide that information so it's readily available to them right here in Chaves County.
Yeah, knowledge is power, as they say, and so you have as family, industry, ranchers, this is your life, this is your paycheck, this is everything.
Oh, yeah.
You want to make sure you got all bases covered here. So even if you don't agree or necessarily, want to abide by said regulations, you got to know them, you got to know. And you know what? That's the thing. You got a bunch of other ranchers. Maybe there's workarounds. Maybe there's ways to satisfy both.
Well, there's ways to help, but I think one thing, too, is a lot of times people who aren't in the agricultural industry, they're hearing about technology or things for the first time.
Sure.
Whereas our farmers or our ranchers have been implementing those technologies
We've been doing that
for
about 10 years.
decades.
Exactly.
And so, a big one is cover crops for farming. So, but you drive up and down the valley, you're going to see winter wheat, or you're going to see alfalfa, or you're going to see all these cover crops throughout our fields on a regular basis. We've been utilizing these things for a while. You've been seeing them switch to more efficient forms of irrigation, things like that, on a regular basis. They've been doing this for years because that is their moneymaker. They are trying to protect that soil. They are trying to protect that resource because that is how they provide for their families.
Who knows better than what that area needs than the person that's been working it their whole lives?
Yes.
That's just what happens.
and that's the same thing with our ranching community. And obviously, we're trying to provide this opportunity for them to get more information to help their production system. And so that's why we're having the beef quality assurance. Then we're going to have another professor, Dr. Franny Miller, come in and talk about marketing opportunities. So that's a big topic right now, especially after everything that's gone on.
You're good at growing stuff, but you got to make money with it too.
Yes. And then on top of it, everybody likes a good meal. We're going to provide lunch, and actually lunch is going to be provided by the New Mexico Beef Council.
So you're having chicken?
No. Actually, they are going to be providing a brisket from Black Betty Barbecue.
Nice.
And so you're going to be fed well.
And I've seen the price of brisket nowadays. We can't afford it ourselves. Come on down here.
And Black Betty's got some great brisket.
They do got some great biscuit, but no, you try to buy it yourself. And I've been to the store. I'm sure you have too.
But this goes to show how much the New Mexico Beef Council actually believes in this BQA, Beef Quality Assurance Program, because they are going to be supporting this program by providing the lunch.
Nice.
And that's how much they believe in it.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, after a big brisket lunch, you're going to be a little bit slow and groggy.
Not going to ready to do a 12-mile run or anything?
No. So we definitely don't want anybody falling asleep after that. So we do have some live demonstrations on growth and reproductive technologies.
So some walk around and get the circulation going.
Yes, and keep you up off your feet. And
get your hands into the dirt a little bit, maybe.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And then after that, we have been seeing an increase in hair sheep here in Chaves County and a few of the other counties, which is meat, sheep for meat.
Okay, that's not the wool sheep. That's
yes.
eaten.
And so these are sheep to eat, and so we're actually going to have some sheep and goat management lectures, and we're going to have Shad Cox. Shad Cox runs a ranch up near Corona, and it's the Corona Research Ranch. It's New Mexico State, where they implement all of the research they're doing on a real working production ranch. And so it's real world application. So he's going to be coming and talking about that. Patrick Kircher, who is the county agent for Roosevelt, is also going to be talking on that topic. And then from there, because the biggest problem with doing sheep or goats is going to be your predators.
Yeah.
So right after that, we're going to be talking about wildlife mitigation. So we're going to have Dr. Sam Smallage, who is New Mexico State's foremost authority on wildlife. And he is going to be coming over here, and he's going to be talking about wildlife mitigation to help control predators, to protect your sheep.
And that's a big area because obviously farmers and ranchers, this is a big problem for them.
Yes.
With the wildlife. However, there's certain rights that these ranchers and stuff have, and there's others they don't have when it comes to some of this stuff.
Oh, definitely.
And so you need to know the difference. You need to understand, and then you need to know the workaround. So if you've got, say, a wolf that's taking out livestock, how can you legally abate that problem without getting in trouble with the government and everybody?
Definitely. And generally with the sheep and the goats around here, the biggest problems, and even with cattle, a lot of these cattle are calving right now, and the coyotes are thick, and they're attacking these calves as soon as they're born. And so it's controlling a lot of these issues that you can have, and finding out ways to work with the wildlife and to help kind of keep them off of your.
So we're talking about meats and stuff. This is a gee whiz just question, and I don't know if this is more of a rancher thing, but the way the world is with food now and how we eat, and people are wanting to kind of expand their culture of food a little bit and try different things and different things and eat different meats. I would definitely say is one of them. Are we seeing where we're ranchers and stuff? Obviously we're beef country and dairy country. It's Cow City up here, but. Is there more of a demand where people are wanting to eat goat, sheep, and meats that we look at as not the big three?
There really are. So there used to be a big industry for meat, for sheep, and here in the U.S. And one of the things that I understand kind of nixed that was during World War II. Our boys in the Pacific were being fed so much mutton that when they came home,
like, I don't want to see another
they
piece of
told
mutton
their
again.
wives, do not fix me any mutton. So nobody was buying mutton, so the mutton industry just went down.
Gotcha.
And so, but over the last few years, whether it's from immigration or whether it's from just that was the only meat left on the shelf, we might as well try it. And now, oh my gosh, this is delicious.
People are getting more into that.
Because it is. People are getting into it. There was a conference a while back in Texas, and a representative from HEB was saying they had trouble keeping any lamb on the shelf. And so it is an industry that is picking up. And so that you're seeing that represented here because our producers are.
And I think people are also looking for beef alternatives too, when they're talking about, less red meat and things. So I didn't know if things like buffalo were starting to rise up, because to me, buffalo is beef without all the cholesterol problems and stuff, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Well, in reality, when you look at, so I've this may be going off on a different topic, but I feel like we have a portion control issue more than a red beef.
I get you. I understand what you're saying.
Because if you
don't eat the whole cow, just
which is tempting. Trust me, as a guy that loves to eat.
I get it, but you don't need a 30-ounce steak. Maybe go with a 10-ounce.
Yeah. So in reality, when you look at the fat content of beef, you're going to find that the fat in beef is not all the negative fats that you actually see with a lot of other products. So,
gotcha.
And that may be a great topic for another time.
Yeah, I was just curious about that, because where supply and demand goes.
We very much.
And I know the public, when they and I know buffalo is one of those options where people are saying, look, it's it tastes like beef and things, but it's leaner meat and there's lower cholesterol and stuff.
It
so
is.
If that's a concern for people, I'm thinking, well, let's try that.
I can't speak for buffalo meat as far as that goes. I've had it; it's delicious. But I mean, I still generally err towards beef on that.
Well, and I'm a guy that loves to try new meats.
Me too.
So like if you're like, here's an antelope burger, I'm like, game on. You know what I mean? Or here's some elk nachos, game on. I'm in. Or here's some rabbit stew, game on. I'm in.
And definitely for those things, they're still ranched.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have elk nachos or an elk steak or a buffalo burger or whatever it was, that came from a ranch that they were actually raising those for a specific purpose.
Yeah, I don't think they'd make much money if they had to go out and hunt elk.
Well, that's actually illegal.
Yeah. Well, I would, but it wouldn't be a good business model. I mean, you literally have to hire hundreds and thousands of people to go hunting just to meet the needs. And that's not
which
feasible.
is one of the problems that we had with our wildlife back in the day.
Yeah.
Was because there were so many people going out and just hunting on a large scale to feed everybody on the East Coast, which is another great benefit and one thing that we need to realize. We have our wildlife because of our ranchers, too.
Sure.
So because our ranchers are so efficient and so great at producing beef, lamb, everything else that we eat, pigs, we do have the wildlife. And actually, because of their management practices out on the range, we have very sustainable ecosystems that these wildlife are coming back into.
Yeah.
For example, if you go north of town, you're going to see areas where there's dense bunches of mesquite or kind of encroaching on the landscape. You're not going to have your wildlife that predominantly show up there. The antelope, things like that, they don't like that. They want big, open, grassy plains.
Well, and that's and this is now we're getting into another argument, but it's the same argument in some aspects. It's like when we talk about BLM and these various other land management federal entities that are around here, and we talk about, like, for instance, you look up in the Capitan, the mountains area up there. They have the wildfires and things, and we kind of did this to ourselves. And what I mean by that is they declare these places wilderness or wildlife areas, and they say we don't want man to touch it. Problem is, if man didn't get involved in there, now we're losing, like, say, owls. Owls can't hunt there no more because there's so much crap in there they can't see down to hunt, so now they're hanging out the Walmart looking for trash. You've got fires that are now starting because we're not going in and getting out undergrowth and doing the things. So now we're actually making the ecosystem worse by not coming in and doing some mitigation there. It's and it's not going in and clear cutting. It's just little simple things. It's like pruning your garden or doing anything else like that. And the people, the farmers, the ranchers, the people that call this land home for generations, they know a little something about that. They know a lot more something about that than people in an office in Washington, D.C. And so that's why, we have so many people talking about this kind of stuff.
Yes, and I think that's just getting that information out and talking about it in a real-world sense.
Yeah.
And I think we can take one little bit of information and ignore the whole view of what's actually going on in that ecosystem and go off on any given little topic.
Sure.
But you really have to look at it with a holistic view and look at everything that goes on.
And really, that's farming and ranching. They do the things the way they do them because it works, and it goes with the flow of things, so to speak. And when you try to do things that buck against the flow or the grain, then you're going to have problems. You're going to find out, oops, there's consequences for things I did over here because I tried. And it's a machine, man. It's just a system. It's nature. It's how things go, and we have our role in it, and we've got to do our job in it for it to work. And you get people that may not necessarily be people that are knowledgeable in this making decisions that shouldn't be making those decisions.
Yes, and there's no way that we as humans can get outside. We can walk away from an area and say, oh, that's a wilderness area. But we've already messed up the system so much by bringing different plant material in. Salt cedar's a great example. Look at our rivers. I mean, they are just loaded with salt cedar. We planted that there back in the day to shore up those banks.
Yeah. Fight erosion.
Fighting erosion. And now look what it's done. It's completely wiped out a lot of native vegetation.
Yeah.
It drinks so much water, it's ridiculous. And so a lot of the issues that we have are because we brought in that plant.
Sure.
If we walk away from that system, the salt cedar's not going to go away.
Yeah,
it's not going to die. We're not maintaining
the human element
salt cedar.
would already suck the rest dry,
Yes,
basically.
the salt cedar's taken off. And so there's a lot of areas that we have to stay in and be involved.
Absolutely.
Because we've already messed up the system at some point.
Yeah.
And so if we're not involved, the system will not work the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, and the only way it will work is when you start turning on Discovery Channel and watching those when man leaves kind of things, and then everything goes back to normal at some point, but we won't be a part of that equation. That's another different story. But anyway, we're way off track.
Yeah, we are.
April 26th here. It's the big farmer ranchers workshop, I should say. But I'm guessing there's probably farmers that can get just as much out of this as ranchers.
Yeah,
so it's open.
And a lot of the producers in our community, they're farmers and they're ranchers.
Sure, they do
so
both.
They do both.
They got stuff in the dirt and stuff in the fields out there grazing. So.
And so we do offer a lot. We have BQA. You will be certified at the end of this. Or if you're already BQA certified, you'll get 2 CEU credits towards your continuing education on it, which you have to maintain so many every 3 years. Also, those last 2 talks, which we didn't even get into the flight control. We can get off in the weeds.
Touch on a little bit here.
But we are doing flight control. We're going to have Brandon Smythe, who runs the NMSU Veterinary Entomology Research Lab.
Okay.
So horn flies, stable flies, he's going to come talk about that, which are a big pest. They'll actually keep cattle moving and keep them from feeding and drinking water. It's impressive how such a small animal can actually disturb such a large animal. But they're going to be talking about that. More information, call Chaves County Extension, call myself. Or if you're wanting to sign up, go to our website, which is chaves-extension.nmsu.edu.
Okay.
And there's a link right there on our webpage to sign up for the Southeast Ranchers Workshop. Okay. Now, it is $25 to sign up.
Okay. Well, that's pretty affordable.
Yeah, it's very affordable.
For the amount of training and certifications you get at the end of the day, $25 well spent.
And, I mean, for brisket lunch
and lunch. Yeah, you drop more than that on lunch.
But that is pre-register. So sign up before April 22nd, and that is $25. It'll be $35 at the door.
Okay.
And that just helps us kind of cover the head count and everything that we're doing to set up.
Help a man out by registering early. That way he...
help yourself out.
Yeah, you send $10, but you also you help with logistics and everything. We'd hate to... get a bunch of people sign up the day of and we run out of brisket. That would be a bad thing to happen. So.
I
know. You won't get a piece because you waited till late. That's the rule.
You get half the brisket.
That's right. Y'all got to split a piece. But good thing news, it's tender, pulls right apart. It'll be easy to eat. Fantastic. And of course, if you have any questions, even if you're just the backyard gardener and you got questions and things, reach out to Drew. He can help you on that stuff too.
Yes, actually, I've been doing a lot of that. We've been going around. I was at a house the other day, and we were just looking at the irrigation system and helping them kind of better their irrigation and make sure that their lawn's going to be beautiful this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, if you have questions, issues with pecans and all that, and the weevils and quarantines and all that, he can sort all that out.
Please, I'm excited to do it.
If you want to show up and say, hey, these nuts good, he can do that for you.
We'll eat a couple and we'll find out, right?
This has got a little bit more protein than it should. It's got a weevil in it. Very good. Is there anything we missed? Anything we wanted to share? Give out the phone number one more time for the extension office.
Yeah. So the extension office is 575-622-3210.
Very good.
And so we're there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And so please give us a call. Anything we can help you with.
Yep. And like you said, the extension office runs through NMSU. So if you go on Facebook, put Chaves County Extension Office, you'll find it. You should be able to find their Facebook and all that, no problem. But it's all through NMSU. So if you see a bunch of NMSU stuff, you're in the right place. You're good to go.
Yes,
so if you don't remember the website or whatever, and of course you can always Google Chaves County Extension Office, and one of the first things in your search should be the website there, and you can click on the link and get registered and everything else. But we'd love to get you to save $10 and sign up early. But if you space or not sure if your time's, am I going to be free that day? And you don't find out till last minute. No big deal.
Which
you can sign up the day of. It does happen. Farmers, ranchers, everybody's lives are busy, and you're like, if that's that day, then that's what happens. So. But and of course, if you have questions or anything, don't hesitate to reach out, or if you're looking for other certifications or resources for that stuff too. And then of course, while you're calling the extension office, you want to know more about 4-H or any of that stuff. that you can talk to the folks there too or help out. Or if you want to talk some diabetic cookbooks or diabetic classes, things like that, the health side of things, you can reach out to. There's folks that can help you.
Yeah, there's a whole host of things that we do that people don't know about, and we love to talk to you about them.
Yeah, so come on down. And then, again, April 26th, it'll be at the Extension Office there on Chisholm, right?
No, it'll actually be at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds.
Okay,
it'll be in what we dub the new building.
Yes, until they either come up with a new building, then it's just going to be a new name. It's just going to be a new building. Even 30 years later, it's new building. Just how it works. Thanks, Drew. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
We'll see you. We'll actually see you next week, probably.
Sure.
So, very good.
I'm Jared Cirillo. We begin with a developing story out of Lincoln County, where the county has declared an emergency because of a wildfire. Tuesday, the McBride fire reportedly has grown to about 3,200 acres, according to InsaWeb. Evacuation orders were in place for Ruidoso north of the high school, including Gavilan Canyon Road, Homestead Loop, Eagle Creek, Blue Lake Drive, Miramonte Road, and east of Fort Stanton Road. A Red Cross shelter was set up at Ruidoso Convention Center. And we're learning that the U.S. government's nuclear waste repository was evacuated last weekend after workers handling a shipping container discovered a small amount of radioactive liquid inside it. There's no indication of airborne contamination. Testing of workers' hands and feet showed no contamination after the discovery was made late Saturday in a bay where the containers are processed before being taken underground for disposal. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
The truth and nothing but. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
You know, it's how embarrassing is it the White House is not currently planning a trip for Biden to Ukraine. Now, Jackie Heinrich works for Fox News, so she asked Jen Psaki about Biden saying, they wouldn't let me go. What do you mean they wouldn't let you go? You're the president. I can't take questions because if I do, they get really mad at me and everything. I'm going to get yelled at. I can't take questions. They told me I'm not allowed. What do you mean you're not allowed? You're the president. Do what you want. You want to go to Ukraine like Boris Johnson and show support for Zelensky? Go do it. He doesn't want to go. He's not capable of that type of strenuous work. It is embarrassing to me. It's humiliating to this country.
Keeping you on the straight path. Later today, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
If your family depends on your income and something happened to you, what would happen to them? You need life insurance, and SelectQuote can help you get it at a price you can afford.
SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, who's in excellent health, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like Protective, Prudential, American General, and others to find you the company with the best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford.
For your free quote, call 1-800-350-8989. That's 1-800-350-8989. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-350-8989.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather, sunshine and gusty today. It will be a little cooler with our afternoon high in the low to mid 70s, that wind kicking up between 30 and 40 miles per hour. Watch out for a little bit of blowing dust. Mid 30s and clear for the overnight hours, and then the wind eases off a little bit on Thursday. Still breezy. Sunshine and our high in the low 80s. We're in the upper 80s by Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Well, we had a lot of postponements yesterday because of the weather, and here's where it's been rescheduled. Roswell was supposed to play at Hobbs in a softball doubleheader yesterday. Well, that game, those two games have been moved to next Monday at 4:30, and the Goddard Rockets softball team, which was supposed to host Artesia yesterday at a twin bill, well, that's just been moved to today, so that's not a severe change. That's supposed to start yesterday at 4:30. Roswell against Hobbs baseball in Roswell. That's been moved to Monday at 5 o'clock. We did have games yesterday, though, believe it or not. East Mountain defeated Dexter in Dexter by a score of 11-9. And it was... Yeah, that was it. Okay. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. The surging cost of energy pushed wholesale prices up a record 11.2% last month from 1 year earlier, another sign that inflationary pressure is widespread across the U.S. economy. A group of leading think tanks has slashed its forecast for economic growth in Germany this year.
They predict that Europe's biggest economy will expand by 2.7% as Russia's war in Ukraine weighs on prospects. The think tanks forecast an even worse performance if Russian gas supplies are cut off suddenly. The five institutes' revised outlook compared with a forecast of 4.8% they made last fall.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Kentucky's governor says a Japanese battery technology company plans a $2 billion factory in Bowling Green, creating 2,000 jobs. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Crack the vault and save this month at Roswell Honda with an amazing selection of vehicles priced to move so you don't have to break the bank. Like a 2016 Audi A3 for just $211 a month, a 2014 Chrysler Town & Country for just $181 a month, or a 2010 Honda Odyssey for just $161 a month. Get a 12-pack of soda and a trip to Mexico just for stopping by, a $15 gas gift card with a test drive, and a car detailing kit with purchase. And crack the code for your chance to win cash all month long at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin & Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
There's a whole universe out there. Come explore at the International UFO Museum and Research Center, featuring engaging exhibits and in-depth first-hand accounts of the incident that put Roswell on the map. The research library features the most comprehensive collection of UFO research materials in the world, and you can get exclusive one-of-a-kind gifts and merch from the gift shop or online at roswellufomuseum.com. Don't forget about the UFO Festival, July 1st through 3rd, celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident. The International UFO Museum and Research Center. It's otherworldly.
The Valley Cafe is now open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Located inside the 180 Youth Building across from Church on the Move on Brasher in Roswell. Enjoy soups, salads, sandwiches, burgers, and more. Try one of their signature creations like the Sweet and Spicy Burger with honey jalapeno bacon barbecue sauce, the chicken cordon bleu soup, Chef Anthony Noble's fried avocados, and the Smotherman Burger with creamy green chili sauce. Or swing by for coffee or breakfast burritos on your way to work. The all-new Valley Cafe, open Monday through Friday, 7 to 3. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or even a snack after school. Don't feel like leaving home? Order takeout from DoorDash.
Mays Lumber has all the hard-to-find hardwood you've been looking for. Oak, cherry, walnut, poplar, and maple. Plus, hard-to-find exotic woods like purple heart, zebra wood, ambrosia maple, black limba, and bloodwood. Perfect for that one-of-a-kind gift piece or table. Get ready with Formica and Wilson Art countertops in 12-footer custom length with installation available. Make it happen at Mays Lumber, 115 South Virginia in Roswell, serving southeastern New Mexico and beyond since 1934.
Roswell Medical Clinic is pleased to welcome Tanya Montoya as the newest member of the family. Tanya's expertise includes functional medicine, wellness, and women's health. Tanya seeks to truly partner with her patients to provide cutting-edge ideas to not only treat chronic diseases, but reverse them. Roswell Medical Clinic is committed to listening and helping each patient become the best version of themselves. Call Roswell Medical Clinic at 575-623-3311 or stop by 111 West Hobbs Street. Roswell Medical Clinic, providers that listen.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Astronauts are not allowed to eat beans before they go into space because passing wind in a spacesuit damages them. The suits or the astronauts? Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 9:55. Got a couple minutes here before we wrap up today's show. If you missed any part of today's show, like to go back and check it out at your leisure, you can do so. Just log on to ksvptv.com, click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel, and you'll find all of our interviews there available at your convenience. In the 7 o'clock hour, we had Teresa Barncastle and Nicole Rogers join us from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. They've got their next meeting on the 20th at the Convention Center. They're talking county candidates with them and having your chance to meet them that day. Then, of course, in the 8 o'clock hour, we had Brian Luck, superintendent for the RSD, join us, giving us the rundown from last night's school board meeting. One of the big notes from that is they approved the 2022-2023 calendar for school. Looks like kids will go back to school August 4th. And
really?
We'll get out on May the 26th next year. They did add 10 days into the schedule here for next year,
right?
Because of COVID. Really, that's kind of they gotta play catch up.
Make some stuff up on the back end.
Yeah, which I personally think is a good thing. I know not everyone agrees with me on that, but I think it is. So that's just me. Again, folks that are wanting to stay up to date on the fire, of course, we'll give updates as we get them here on the radio and the news and what have you. But I invite you to follow the Facebook page.
McBride Fire 2022.
My brain just went completely blank there
it's
for a second.
It's McBride Fire 2022 on Facebook. You can also get there through the Village of Ruidoso Facebook page. They have a link right up the top.
Yeah, so you can get there and get the updates there. And hopefully weather will allow them to make some progress today, although the weather report we saw that isn't very favorable for them. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, the whole tree is moving outside. That does not augur well.
Yeah, the wind's whipping pretty good right now here, too. So tis the season now. So.
Yeah.
I am surprised we don't see more kites flying around here.
It seems like it would be a much bigger thing.
It's just people don't care anymore about kite flying?
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, because I would love to go back to where they had that kite festival in Rio Rancho when I was a kid, just to see if they still do it. Because it was a huge thing then.
The only place you see kite flying is beaches now.
Well, it was really big in the late 90s. People were really into trick kiting. Again.
Yeah. There was kite fighting was a thing for a little bit there.
Kite fighting was, but specifically they were coming out with all these I know you gotta go. All these very intricate kite designs that were boxes. There was just a square, like a cube, and they somehow got it airborne.
I don't know. I remember as a kid liking the concept of kite flying. I remember after a while I was tired of it, but I did like going out there and getting the kite airborne, and I know we've had this conversation before, but
I feel like today would be an effortless kite day.
Yeah.
You could get it airborne today.
But I've always
Charlie Brown could get his kite airborne today.
Problem is, where are you going to lose it? You got to get the high test kite string with
60-pound
test. Yeah, it's so heavy it doesn't float no more. But yeah,
they use this to catch marlins down in Florida.
But I always found the best kites were those ones you buy at the convenience store in that little bin.
Isn't that weird?
Right next to the checkout. That
with the hand of string.
And then you open it up and it's like a pair of eyeballs or a butterfly or something. And then I think you can make your own little tail to stick on it, and it works perfect. Yep. And those kites, as soon as you let it go, they fly out of your hand and float up. Them
no
box
control.
Ones that
very, very little control.
Oh, yeah. As soon as that nose dipped down. But yeah, it was, at least I got that one airborne. The other ones were that run with this box.
Those ones are hard, but that's it. You know what? Bring it back. Bring kiting back.
There you go. Go fly a kite.
Hashtag kiting 2022.
Yep. That's my message for everybody today. Go fly a kite.
Go fly a kite.
Have an awesome day. Have an amazing day. We'll talk to you bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow. You're listening to 106.5.